Hello and welcome to the desert of Saudi Arabia for the NEOM IFSC Masters 2024. We have a list of world-class athletes here in this qualifying round, hoping to make it through to tonight's final. We're seeing shots from last year's competition, and what a unique venue this is. What a place to go climbing. And as you can see from those shots, the backdrop itself speaks wonders for what we have here. Towering red cliffs above the bouldering wall, and the athletes giving it their all out there for us. My name is Matt Groom, and it's a pleasure to be joining you here in the morning here in Saudi Arabia, coming up to about 9:30 a.m. and that is our backdrop, and those are the climbing walls. Now, we're going to have an explainer about what is going on in this comp.
This is how it all works. In qualifying, the competitors have 5 minutes to take on each of the 4 boulders. The goal is to accumulate points. You receive 5 points for reaching the zone and 25 points if you reach the top. 1 point is deducted for each subsequent attempt. The athletes' totals are added up, with the top competitors proceeding to the final. All 4 boulders are reset for a brand new challenge, and the competitors have 2 2-minute slots to take on each boulder. After boulder 3, the field is cut, leaving those in good contention for a podium spot to take on boulder 4. It is simple. Our amazing athletes take on these 4 boulders, and the most points wins. Sounds easy, it's not, but that's why we love it.
Well, there we go. A little bit of a different format if you're used to IFSC competitions, especially when we come to the final. But for the qualifying rounds, things are a little bit simpler. 4 boulders on offer out there on our wall. You can see in the middle of the arena. And 23 men will be competing this morning for just 6 finals places. Let's have a look at the starting list and some big names at the top. Sota Amagasa, World Cup gold medalist, and of course Manu Cornu in that same camp as well. Michael O'Neill from Ireland following him. Those 3 ranked. Everyone else will be sort of fighting for those 5 places, but the first 2 definite favourites to get in later on. And some new countries, as you can see as we go down our list, including Venezuela, Mauritius. It's going to be exciting to see some new young athletes coming through and performing on a pretty big stage here. Stanley Au will be finishing things off in Guam down at the bottom of the 23rd. So, 4 boulders await us. Speed climbing coming on Wednesday. Those athletes have already arrived in the desert, and there's some big names there, including world record holder Sam Watson, who is, I'm about to say in the house, but in the desert, waiting his turn to compete. And the athletes will be behind that arch you can see in the centre of the stage. And it's a lovely setup here in NEOM. We're very well catered for here. The athletes have been travelling in from all over the world. And look at that for a drone shot, hey? These cliffs rising above the desert floor. And the facilities here, absolutely excellent for them to perform at their best. We've got wonderful food, lots of events for people to take part in, including stargazing, yoga, and then nice training facilities for everybody in the background behind that wall. But these are the 4 routes, and as always with these competitions, different styles on offer here, from slabs down on the left to a very overhanging section on the right. I think it's about 60 degrees through that roof, but that's the slab there where the athletes will be kicking things off here this morning. And Sota Amagasa will be waiting somewhere behind that white arch. He was warming up very early on this morning with his coaches, and he will almost be ready. The beeps go down, and here we go, underway for the NEOM Masters 2024. And there is Sota Amagasa making his way rather casually out. I think he's just being held back, and now, yeah, here we go. So Sota will be the first to take on the slab.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Gets the nod, immediately runs onto the mats, his eyes flicking, and he won't have had a look at these boulders before. Grabbing a brush, Just making sure everything is clean, and it's one of the unique things about being in the desert actually is the dust that can come onto the wall itself. Sota underway though, pressing right from that starting hold, and the athletes have to start where those green lines indicate. He's into the zone now, worth 5 points as explained in that explainer. You get -1 point for every fall. Careful with his feet as he traverses towards the right, and he'll take a moment to chalk up here. The athletes are allowed to carry chalk up the wall with them to help to improve grip. And one last stretch up from Sota, the top in sight. Another little chalk up as he presses the left palm into it, brings the right in. That's the perfect start for Sota Amagasa. Top 25 maximum points available for him with no falls. And a big smile on his face as he will leave the stage, being directed, I think, over to the left, yeah. Well, what a start then. As we'd expect, the highest ranked competitor in terms of world ranking immediately in with a flash. Let's have another look at this in the replay. Pressing the heel in, having a little look up, and a clever chalk before he made that final stretch up. You don't want to make any mistakes. And you have to match it with 2 hands and show the judges control, and that is very important. Something we'll be keeping an eye on throughout this competition. You can't just touch it with 1 hand. You can't even just touch it with 2 hands and then fall off. You have to be in a position where the judges will deem that you are in control. You can see the tents there in our shop. That is where we're all sleeping. Glamping, I think you call it. Some pretty nice tents. Full showers for the athletes. It's been a very fun competition, as it always is here in Saudi Arabia. And you can see just how unique it is. We're used to cityscapes and perhaps some mountain landscapes on the IFSC circuit. Very rarely do we come to locations like this, and certainly for the athletes who are out and about this morning, a lot of them quite new to the scene. We're seeing some countries we don't normally get on a stage this big, and of course we're broadcasting the qualifying session, which is pretty unique as well for IFSC comps. Kind of like a semi-final though, with our 23 athletes, and a similar kind of format. We start off nice and slow with just 1 athlete at a time. By the end of it, we'll have lots of athletes.
Take it easy. I think you can grab something to drink, to eat.
And you can see the sun there, just peeking behind the mountains in the background. 2 minutes left on this rotation. By the middle of this qualifying round, we will have lots of athletes climbing at the same time. And you can see the clock now ticking down on the right. Now this is Boulder number 2, I'm presuming. Yes, in the corner. So starting off right on the right-hand side of this wall, then traversing left through the overhang. Good feet, but it's awkward because you're being pushed over. Boulder number 3, let's have a look at that, shall we? Way more dramatic in terms of the holds and volumes on the wall. Run and jump start up to what is a good jug, and then a jump to the left. And that blue hold that you can see on the grey volume on the left, very flat, no positive edges on it. And as things warm up here, we will see some slips there. Boulder number 4, well, that goes through the roof I was talking about 60 degrees. And this, to me, when I was looking at it, the hardest one. Pinches, small jibs screwed on, but again, not positive, just something for the thumb to press in. Once you hit the zone in the middle of that roof, you then have to go over the lip onto a more vertical section, but of course at that point your arms are tired, and the top above that. Now, I'm having a lot of questions about whether you can climb on these rocks. Well, there is a climbing area called the Secret Garden, which is about 20 minutes by jeep. But the climbing around this area is a bit limited. The rock quite friable, quite soft. We're just going for a walk in this place is just wonderful. You can stride out from this camp into the desert. Be careful, of course. And everywhere you look, there's these towering mountains of rock. It's a bit like being on Mars out here. It's a really special place to be and a unique place to go climbing. Well, in 21 seconds, we're going to see our next athlete out, who will be Manu Cornu from France. The athlete's coming out in world ranking for this qualification round. So Al Stanley will be out last, and Sota Amagasa was out first. And everyone vying for finals places, 6 available later on. And I can see Manu in the background here doing a final chalk up, getting himself ready.
Manu Cornu is ready to fight in problem number 1 is a slab specialist.
Manu Cornu there. You can see him. There he is. Podium this year on the World Cup circuit in good form, returning from injury, and Manu Cornu will want to make a bit of an impression here. He was here last year. One of few athletes who have joined us for a second time. And Manu at 30 has been on the circuit for a while, very experienced competitor, and he will enjoy this slab. The French team, known for their slab climbing ability. Manu, nice and slow at the beginning here, just creeping his way through across. So Manu starts onto the slopers now, nice and slow and careful, tongue just sticking out in full concentration as he starts to press towards the top. Not bringing a chalk bag like Sota Amagasa did, but seeming to not cause any problems for him. Left hand on, right hand for Manu, and that's a flash for him as well. 25 points, an easy start from the Frenchman. And I think we all know that Manu Cornu, barring mistakes, will be trying to secure his finals place and will be conserving energy and skin, of course, on his way through to tonight's final. There's a bit of a difference in terms of level between those top three, Michael, Manu and Sota. So if I was a gambling man, which who knows if I am or not, I'd put some money on those three making it, and then everyone else, well, it's a bit of a free-for-all there to see who can step up to the mark here in NEOM. Great shots from the top of the wall there to show the focus on Manu's face. And the calm as well, so composed. Holding onto the top of the wall just to celebrate. You can't use that as part of the climb itself. Manu just having a nice peaceful moment here in the morning. Well, our drone comes around once again to show off our camp, so I can give you a little bit of a tour, really. You can see the climbing wall in the back, and the tents behind the wall is for the athlete warm-up area, and there's food and drink available to them. In front of that, the audience that will come in mainly tonight, although we've got quite a few athletes walking in from breakfast. Behind that, the tents, catering area, there's a fire pit. Last night we had a talk from a Red Bull athlete, skydiver and base jumper. And really, it's one of those events where the athletes are foremost in everyone's attention, which is great to see. So this was Manu's run. Easy at the start, careful on those slopers he came across, and super calm on this pinch with the left hand, bringing the right hand through to match. Grabbing the top of the wall as we'd expect. And a little celebration from Manu, job done from him. That full 25 points. So yeah, you can see the black tents on the right. That's the sleeping quarters, and showers and toilets to the right of that. And then the section closest to us on the drone, that's the fire pit catering area. And I tell you what, the food here is excellent. I'm going to have to do a few runs into the desert just to burn off the calories gained from this, because trust me, it's hard to stop not to overeat here. It's that good. And the climbing area I was talking about is way out to the right of the desert. We were there last year in this area called the Secret Garden, which is one of the many crags that have been bolted here. And I know that's for the local Saudi climbers as well, who come and enjoy the cliffs in the surrounding area, making the journey from the cities around into the desert. As I said, the red sand does make it look like a bit of a Marsscape out there. Well, that's the current points. Sota Amagasa on 30, so that's the 25 plus the zone 5, so 30 points total. Manu as well. And the yellow box gets filled all the way up for a top. It'll be halfway for a zone. As you can see, 4 boulders on offer, and therefore 4 boxes. And we'll try to keep you updated on those scores as we progress through the competition. But also important at the beginning, with 23 athletes to come, we'll have to wait until the very end to see if someone could do something special and make their way into the top 6. Remember, a -1 for every fall. Locked in, of course, if you get it. So if you flash the zone, that fire will be locked. If you fall going to the top, that's when the points will start to get deducted from the total score. So the buzzers will beat down. Next athlete out will be Michael O'Neill from Ireland. We'll also see Sota Amagasa back in action. There's Michael. And here we go, 2 athletes at once. It's going to get busy by the middle of this qualifying session with 4 athletes climbing on all 4 boulders. We'll keep up with that action, of course, and show you some replays if we happen to miss anything. Sota is immediately on and through, halfway through his boulder, nearing the zone before Michael's pulled off the ground. Now Michael is on, and a lovely shot to show both. This is Sota on the zone now, so that'll be the 5 locked. Hits the left foot and a big push, shoulders in action, going for the top. Nice little jump over and another flash for Sota Amagasa. Quick work from him, smile on his face. The real work will begin for Sota later on. And this is Michael now making his way over on the slopers. Signing for a heel hook here. Trusting that heel, rocking up, putting the weight onto it as he starts to press off the blue holds. Aiming for the top now, creeps the left hand through. Good work from Michael, that's the top. And a nice finish.
So I'm going to first begin with this top athletes and going through this 23 climbers at the beginning of this competition. You are only the first one of this first ranking.
Well, there we go, 2 athletes done on this round, and I'm going to get a co-commentator joining me later on. I think the coach from Cameroon will be joining me. He's obviously got some coaching duties to do first with his athletes on later on. And the speed wall, as you can see in the middle, that will be in action later on, and that's the scoreboard. Sota Amagasa with the 2 flashes, meaning his score jumps up to 60. Manu on 30, but he's got that second boulder to come, of course, and Michael, we've just seen him on 30 as well, flashing the boulder number 1. And I think Nimrod Tusnady will be up next of all from Hungary, also ranks, I think, in terms of the world ranking. Everyone, of course, getting that ranking, but those 3 or 4 will be the ones you'll recognise most if you've seen. So those boxes you can see in the middle, the yellow boxes, they get filled all the way up for a top, halfway for a zone. And there are 4 boxes in total. Each box matches a boulder. And therefore the perfect score will be all those boxes showing yellow at the end of the round with no falls. And Sota Amagasa certainly on his way towards that. No falls at all so far, in fact. So I think we're going to see some later on. So that's the scores, and we'll keep an eye on that throughout the competition, don't worry. Let you know what's going on with that. There is also an IFSC app free to download, so you can keep an eye on it. This is Sota Amagasa's flash on boulder number 2. Firing his way over, had a little bit of a pause before committing to that jump. It is quite a long way from right to left. And this is Michael on the slab, pressing his way up. It took a while for him to trust that heel and commit some weight to it. And once he had done that, stood up a little bit, he found his way easily onto the top. And what a shot that is. I do, as a climber, I'm quite keen to get on top of those cliffs, but as I said, pretty friable rock, so no easy way up, no sensible way up anyway, so it's good that our drone can show us what we're missing. And our bird's eye view of the compound and camping area there. And then maybe we'll get our 4th athlete out in about 40 seconds. The athlete's being rotated through by the staff in the background there. And let me just explain a little bit about that isolation area, because it's the warm-up zone. The athletes will then wait on chairs for their turn to be called up. It's always an interesting time, the pressure certainly showing. The more experienced you are, I think the less pressure comes with that one. But of course, nerves always play a part. And this the final sort of IFSC affiliated competition of the year. We've had a busy season, multiple World Cups along the way, and of course that little event called the Olympics as well.
When the timer goes right and we have 5 seconds, I want to ask you to level the...
So here we go, Manu Cornu back in action, Nimrod in the background as well from Hungary. So here we go, Manu with a little smile on his face as he enters the stage. He'll be on boulder number 2 now. That move with the jump at the end of it in the center of the wall. Let's see how Nimrod gets on with this one. There he is, 20 years old, 16 participations in World Cups, so fairly experienced. And Nimrod very careful with the foot here as he stretches his way across, pressing in with the left hand, making sure of these slopers there's no positive edge to be found on them, just palms, skin and friction in action here as he makes the match, and then we'll chalk up along the way as well. A little blow of the chalk, making sure everything's as sticky as possible, and we have our first fall of the competition. He looked pretty solid there before falling, but eventually got caught out there. It'll be interesting to see if he makes any adjustments to that as he creeps his way back through again. Soft shoes in action here, and heels down on the holds themselves, on those big volumes we call them. You see, trying to get as much rubber as possible onto the surface of those volumes.
Come on. If you want to go to support Ukraine, you have to go. Get it, Nimrod, come on. Allez. Yeah, it's better. It is way better. See how the weight is well put on the foot. And Nimrod Tusnady.
So, Nimrod topping up the boulder. Nice and clean from him. Good work, and he'll finish things off, grabs his chalk and mat, just trying to find out which direction to go. And I have actually got a co-commentator coming to join me up here in the commentary box for a bit. He's a man with multiple jobs here this morning, so he's going to give us his time when he can. But luckily he's going to come and join me now, just for a little bit of a chat to let us know as we watch a replay of Manu. So James, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're a busy man.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
Just tell me a bit about your role here at NEOM. What are you up to?
So I'm here as the team official for the Cambodian team. I myself am a Canadian, but I've been living in Cambodia about 3 years, and I'm coaching 2 Cambodian boulder athletes.
Wow, and tell me a bit about the Cambodian climbing scene, because I know it's kind of up and coming, a little bit new to the circuit.
It is new to the circuit, yeah. It's been coming for quite a few years. We had a lot of input in the early 2000s from Japanese climbers coming down, helping establish a sport federation, even paying for some athletes to go train in Japan or in Indonesia. And so now, last year, we got our first World Cup presence.
Yeah, first World Cup presence, exactly, because I remember interviewing some of your athletes for our Universality videos, which was a program for the IOC and the IFSC. Yeah. So for these guys out here today, this is quite a big deal, because although, you know, we're missing some athletes, this is still a world-class standard boulders and arena.
Yeah, it is, exactly. And actually, it's something we're so excited about, because this is an opportunity for the guys to climb at a level that they almost never really get to climb at. But they're doing it alongside some other athletes who are in similar situation. You know, we got guys from Mongolia here today. They got the Kazakh guys in, and it's really exciting to see these countries that you don't get to see so much in the World Cups starting to have a presence.
Yeah, and for the athletes as well, it's a chance to climb with people like Manu Cornu, like Sota Amagasa, and learn a little from them, I would imagine. Yeah. So we're watching here Manu Cornu. As a coach, looking at these boulders, any ones that worry you in particular? I thought boulder number 4 looked pretty savage.
Yeah, we were watching the beta videos earlier today. This flash format is something new to us. My guys actually were in their tent watching the videos, not realizing they could come and watch live because they're very used to the isolation zone. if I'm being perfectly honest, you know, they're all very high-level boulders, and for us in our program, we don't have holds like this in Cambodia, let alone route setting like this in Cambodia. So it's really exciting to see what the guys have been doing in the warm-up zone, watching some of these high-level guys, you know, like they watched Sota get up there and do some really cool stuff, and then our guys got on and tried some of the moves he was doing and could really see the difference, you know, even in the warm-up area. So I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, I had a little play in the warm-up area myself. I was quite shocked by how bad the holds were. It was just the friction of the things is not great.
Yeah, I didn't even bother. I didn't even touch it.
All right, well, next athlete out. Name is quite difficult to pronounce, this one.
No, Nimrod Tusnady.
Nope.
Oh no, so Ulaanbaatar, yeah. Mandak Bayar Ulaanbaatar from Mongolia.
I'm glad you're here for that one.
Yeah.
Well, there he is waiting in the background. Looking a little bit like Clark Kent. It's the Superman of the triathlon world here.
He's a nice looking man, that's for sure. I rather like the Mongolian athletes. They have a similar kind of level program to us at the moment. It's nice to see other countries that are up and coming and coming alongside at the same time. I think their program's a little more advanced than the Cambodian program, but still pretty nascent.
Well, let's see how Ulaanbaatar gets on here as we watch. Wow, Sota with a dramatic start to his comp, firing off those first holds and easily towards the top.
I think having Sota out first was probably a smart move, you know, get more vision on the beta for everybody.
Well, spectacular. We just kind of caught the beginning. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that. Michael, meanwhile, will make his way into the zone on boulder number 2. And it seems with boulder number 2, it's all good down low, and then this is the move we have to think about just a little bit.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't seen a fall yet in this competition. It's been
We saw
flash.
Nimrod fell off boulder number 1,
Oh, sorry.
so he got the 29.
I was working with my athletes. Hey, nice top there.
Yeah, good,
Michael.
Yeah, Michael, very quick. He's from Ireland. Ireland, good bouldering scene as well.
Yeah, you were mentioning that section where he just came through where you got 2 rather big volumes sticking out, but it is overhung there. Getting yourself in position for that last move is the trick. Once you're in position, the last move's not hard. It's a big jug at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to commit to that jump. Well, we're watching Ulaanbaatar, the only athlete out, and he's got 3 minutes 30. So calm and focused here, and he will be feeling some nerves out there on the mats, I'm sure. And your athletes, let's talk about nerves for them. How do you sort of calm them down for a competition like this?
I was having a team chat with them yesterday over lunch and kind of reminding them of the concept of team records. You know, we're looking at some of the best athletes in the world and watching them get these big tops. And I was thinking back to last year in one of the World Cups, one of our athletes who's here today, Sambat Pektra. Pektra was on a boulder and he got a zone. And in that comp, he was the only one of the Solidarity athletes to get a zone. And so that was a pretty big deal for us. But coming at this competition saying, hey, 2 zones would be a team record.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that to me was how we kind of approached it, is you know, constant improvement. You know, if we're not winning a comp, are we doing better than we did last time? Now that right there where he fell off, our Mongolian athlete here, that press is really, really difficult. That kind of inward, it's like the opposite of an elevator, right? You're kind of pressing inward with 2 hands, and they're both slanting in towards you. And I didn't actually get to watch anybody climb that boulder, so I didn't see you know, for example, Sota's beta on that one, but I would assume getting just a little higher up on those big wedges might serve him well.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And Ulaanbaatar there falling off that move at the beginning, that will count once you come off the ground and then hit the mats. That will be a -1 from his score.
Yeah.
So this is the section you were talking about, these 2 opposing volumes. There's nothing on them, is there? It's just pure friction.
Yeah. So right now he's got his right hand on, he's gonna bring his left over, and now he's pulling in. And the foot isn't great.
And the right foot as well, it sort of disappears the higher up that volume goes.
Yeah, nice move. He's got the right move, he's got the right idea, he's got to stay in a little closer to the wall.
Yeah, he did it quite dynamically, that pop. And of course, you're trying to almost crimp that blue sloper with the right-hand side of your hand. And it's quite a big ask, that one. But he's got 1 minute 14, so the buzzer will go soon to indicate to him We think he's got the zone already, or should do certainly, so that'll be 5 points, which is points on the board. And when we're aiming for just 6, we know realistically here, looking at the list, I think Michael, Manu and Sota are pretty guaranteed to make it through.
Yeah, yeah.
So really everyone's fighting for those final 3 places here.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking down the list, if there's anyone else that I would assume is going through, and not, I mean, not really. It's a pretty, you know, it's really nice to see the names that you don't always get to see at these level of events.
Yes, exactly, and it leaves us watching, certainly. It'll be quite interesting to see who's going to make it. I think it's going to come down to zones. I think that's where the finalists will be found. Yeah. Especially when you get zones like on Boulder 4, which I think is the hardest boulder of the set. That could be vital.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, Chunbato is going one more time here. This is where he keeps falling. The transition from the black volumes onto the blue volumes. Has the right foot rubber down as he presses with the heel. Not quite.
It's a nice attempt.
Well, he is done. He'll leave the stage.
With points on the board, though.
Exactly, and that is so important for this. I don't think we're going to see that many tops after this round, so it's going to come down to zones. Let's see some replays, and this was Sota's wild move, and the top move anyway.
I love the smile on his face as he went for it.
It was great, wasn't it? I think he knew he was in at that point. Bumping those fists, enjoying his competition. And Michael as well, this was the hard move. Dance over with the feet, be nice and careful, launch for the final jug. Job done once you commit. I think it's the commitment that's the most important thing with that. And this is Chunbato, who did struggle with the transition move throughout that comp, but got those 5 points, as we say. And this is how, this is Mark now on the wall, Mark
Scanlon from Ireland as well. He and his teammate Michael.
Yeah, one's to watch, I think. And then Manu Cornu, let's see how he does this flick, because Sota did it so fast, we kind of missed it. So he has the swing.
Oh.
It's hard to stop on that blue hole. There's no edge on it.
You're coming in an opposing direction. You're coming through to the blue hole and then trying to go, not quite opposite direction, but up and back a little.
So Manu will immediately go again.
But here we've got Mark going for a top on boulder number 1.
Yeah, we'll flick to that in a sec. So Manu at the moment swings back and forth on that jump there, that swing. We see the shot of the mats down low, and there is Manu going just once more. And there is Mark leaving the stage, so he sent boulder number 1 pretty quick.
He did.
We'll see a replay of that in a sec.
Oh, okay. It's just a little unsure when he gets onto it. His left hand, he wanted to adjust just a little higher up. Maybe this time he'll nail the right spot on the first try.
Yeah, he changed those hands. He tried to go higher, sort of like do an extra little paddle move on the blue.
Exactly.
So Manu, for the first time in his comp, has been stopped on his rampage in flashes. So he will be getting minus points from his score here.
Oh, very interesting attempt at a skip to the zone. And you know what? He wasn't far off of that. That zone hold is a bit juggy as well. I mean, if he could get his fingers on it, that could be a viable skip.
It's something I'd imagine the testers will have had a go at. And Manu, is he going to go again? I don't think he is. I think he's going to try the... Oh, he's going feet first this time. So Manu obviously not liking that blue hold. And with 2 minutes 30, it's a good time to experiment.
Yeah, it is, exactly. He's still got lots of time. Interesting format again with the flash format where they get to watch the beta ahead of time. So he'll have maybe 2 or 3 ideas already going in that might work, might not. And so it's not really in the moment trying to figure it out as much. They've had more planning time. And I've never seen this format, so I'm curious to see the difference it makes in their strategy and their rest times and how many attempts they go for.
Yeah, well, he's got 60 points at the moment. You can see down on the bottom left those boxes I was talking about earlier. So just 2 at the moment. No zone for Manu on this. That's better from him.
Much better. I think he'll stick to that.
The round before I think he tried 3 different methods in one go. He had the feet first, then he tried to do it slowly. And now he's gone back to the more traditional way of doing this boulder, which I think is probably the easiest.
Probably is, yeah. Now, hang on a second. Okay, he's trying a different skip now, going to the middle yellow instead of straight to the zone.
This is what I love about watching Manu climb. He doesn't do the usual things.
No. Well, why? I mean, if the unusual thing is going to work for you, then why bother with the usual thing, right?
Exactly, and he tends to think outside the box, so this could be fascinating. Minute 15 on the clock, though. Whatever he does, he's got to figure this out quick. Going again for that top hold.
Yeah, I don't think that hold's positive enough. He went for the middle hold on that one, so there's the blue, yellow, and then the yellow zone. The first time he tried to skip it was straight to the yellow zone. The next 2 times was that middle one, but I don't think that one's positive enough to go for it.
This is a replay of Nimrod on Boulder number 2. This was a pretty quick send, I think, for him. We'll get the scores later on. Planted that left foot, yeah, 59, so still only 1 fall for him, so I think it was a flash. So 25 maximum points for him. Manu's
all right, that was much closer. I mean, and that was probably the intended beta, and it was working for him. But that twist, as you hit the blue, your body wants to keep going past it, and so pushing in the other direction, his legs were still twisting out left. And here we go. I keep thinking he's figured it out.
It's kind of all fun and games at the beginning, but with 14 seconds now, it's got to get his own.
He's probably going to go straight for the zone, I would wager.
Yeah.
He's going for the big straight-up jump.
Yeah, those hips swinging,
Yep,
goes
straight
for
for
it.
the zone.
Well, no zone and no top for Manu Cornu.
No, but the outsiders will be happy that they didn't put the zone too low.
Yes. Well, this was Mark. We said he'd top the boulder quickly. Here's how he did it. It was 30 points, so a flash for him. Reaching up, nice and smooth on that final move, and there's that match. So a quick word from Mark. Job done. Okay, next athletes out onto the mats. Taher from
the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Exactly, so home athlete.
All right. There we go, loudest cheer of the day so far for the hometown athlete.
Yeah, we did a World Climbing Club, which is our daily IFSC show we do during IFSC comps. And we interviewed the Saudi team in Seoul. And I can't remember exactly who I interviewed, but it was an arm wrestler who challenged me to a match, which I will admit I lost very quickly.
I'm sure.
I think it might have been Taher, actually.
And you know what? He's just come through that very nicely. Our Mongolian athlete was trying for a bit of a dynamic move there. Nice static, kept his hips tight to the wall, came through with relative ease. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, wait for the crowd reaction if he finishes this off. We haven't seen anyone drop it from this point. Walks up and goes.
A little slip of the foot, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, so he did fall at the top, that heel not holding him.
But he knows now the direction he needs to go, so I'm excited to see his next attempt.
We saw a very quick top as well. You saw in the background there, I think it was Michael walking off the stage.
Yeah.
Ulaanbaatar on boulder number 2 has a look down at skin and fingers.
And did we see Sota on the final boulder?
If we did, I didn't catch it. It was that quick, so possibly, yes.
Hopefully in a replay we'll catch that.
Yeah, he's come and gone.
Yeah. Focused on our Saudi athlete who's back up now.
Exactly, and he's going again. And you're right, this is what you were talking about. We saw Ulaanbaatar go quickly here. He's going slowly, creeping his way across.
Creeping along. And you know what? That foot is actually pretty good. It's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I think
down low.
This slab will be probably the easiest of the set.
They did seem to order it in increasing difficulty. And it's also an increasing overhang, so an appropriate direction of difficulty.
Yeah, it gets more physical towards the end. Right, here he goes, pressing up. This is where he fell before.
Yeah. He's got a nice flat foot. Again, the little slip. So raising the question, should he have his foot a little bit further down the hold, because it seems to be where it wants to go?
I would agree with you. He needs to be further to the left, I think, on the top.
And he's got it quite nice and flat on the hold, a lot of friction. So if he can just get that right placement, I think he'll have it, no problem.
Ulaanbaatar struggling to get started here. It's a big reach up to a crimp.
It is.
Oh, I think it's a 2-finger drag he's got going there. And he's not enjoying his right hand, whatever's happening there. He keeps, sorry, left hand. I think being that extended on the crimp is causing him some pulley problems.
It is.
Oh, look, there we go. So let's see how Sota did it. We were right, he was quick. Easy through the roof.
The pinch power underneath that roof is amazing.
I had a touch of those holds before we started. They're really nasty. Quick work from Sota, as we'd expect.
Like that.
I think that's maximum points for him as well.
And in the background of that shot just there, we also saw Michael get his top.
So Taher going once more here. He's had no problems down low, cruising through the opening section. It's the top that's had problems, and we both think that left foot needs to be further to the left of the blue volume.
Yeah, but I mean, I say these things and then I go, well, what do I know? He's a far better climber than I am.
Yeah, but it's our job. We get to armchair commentate here, armchair climb.
I have the benefit of this TV screen that zoomed right in on it, and I can see it. But here he goes. He's got the foot. Oh, just the hip twisting out just that little bit.
I think some of it is in the hips. I think he just needs to open them up a little bit more, actually. And Chilambata really struggling with the opening sequence.
He is. He's a fairly tall athlete, actually. I don't have the stats in front of me, but walking around in the warm-up area, I saw he's actually taller amongst the field today.
Yeah, so I think he must be knocking on the door of 6 foot almost.
Yeah, interesting to see if that plays any role. And a skip straight to the zone. It is possible. So there you go. Manu Cornu was actually onto something.
He was. This is a replay from earlier on. Michael launching up towards the zone. Now, just to explain to people at home, although there is a way and holds on the wall, it's up to the athletes how they climb the boulder.
Absolutely.
And we call it boulder beater breaks when we see it. And we love it as part of the sport because it shows creativity, it shows thinking outside the box.
That's right.
It's not cheating.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the great joys of working. Like, for example, I own a climbing gym in Phnom Penh, and when our route setters put something up, and then I, being 6'2", will go up and just skip a couple of holds and force them to remember that, you know, taller people are going to do things you don't like.
Oh, you can. Look, sorry to interrupt, but Taher had 5 seconds. I think he might have done that if he'd held a bit more time. He looked more confident.
Yeah, it was a really, really good run from a Saudi Arabian athlete there.
Yeah, points on the board for him. So, Manu Cornu in his final boulder. Struggled at boulder 3. No zone, no top for him. Second athlete out. And by the way, James, whenever you have to go, please do, because I know you have an athlete waiting.
I am looking at the clock. He's in warm-up right now. He's just doing his thing, getting his head in the zone. So I'll wait until about 5 more minutes, and then I'll be, actually, so after this round, I'll be heading back to the isolation.
Lovely. And just to let everyone know, obviously, there's going to be no cheating going on here because this is this format of the flash format, so the athletes have seen the boulders already.
That's right. I just called it isolation, but it's not that, is it?
No, it's not isolation. No. That's why we can have a coach here who will return to that area.
That's right. Oh, Ireland. Boulder 2, almost all the way to the top.
Yeah, this is Mark. Careful with the feet here.
Hard to tell on the screen, but that is quite overhung, so he's reaching underneath the wall quite a bit to get his foot on that second hold. But the top is on a straight vertical, so once you get to it, easy to be there.
It was easy, wasn't it? So he finishes that thing off nicely.
Yeah. Good showing from Ireland today.
Okay, Malaysian athlete out and about.
Yeah, pretty excited. Malaysia, Kekun Tau.
Yes, Kekun Tau has that heel locked in, pushes upwards, a little puff out of the breath there.
I don't actually know this fella. He's a younger guy. One of the, and a top from there, go Malaysia. One of the joys of living in Southeast Asia is we get to know a lot of the athletes around. We're all in close proximity. Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia. A lot of really great climbers in Southeast Asia.
Yes, indeed. And that was Manu Cornu still on the boulder.
So our Hungarian athlete here going for the job and then checking himself and not falling off on that check. That was quite good control in his part.
It was, wasn't it? Eventually committed, landed, couldn't find that blue volume. So he will have a rethink here. There is Manu in the background putting some liquid chalk on. Now, although the sun is hitting the mats, the wall itself is sheltered. The sun actually behind the wall, but it will be heating up.
It will, yeah. And when we were practicing the speed, we waited until nighttime to practice the speed wall because it is in full sun for a lot of the afternoon. It cools down here a lot at night. So my Cambodian athletes were struggling warming up. They're used to, 30 degrees Celsius, and we're rocking a 20 degrees Celsius right now.
I tell you what, it's not as cold as it was last year, though. It was very cold last year, yeah.
Okay.
And I did not have appropriate clothes. I didn't read my emails properly.
Yeah.
Manu bumping
nice.
that right hand onto the pinches, has a heel in.
Oh, missed the little grab there, but held that toe hook very nicely. And he may have let his toe hook go a little too aggressively. Just swung him back, just too much.
Yes, it did. Well, interesting.
2 minutes to go, lots of time.
Yeah, Manu, after a strong start, has struggled on the last two a little bit here. which is interesting to see. The difficulty certainly setting up, but it makes you realise what kind of form Sota Amagasa is in right
Absolutely, yeah. And like, as I said, having him come out first was maybe, I don't know if it's a random selection or if it's strategy, but having him come out first was, if I was planning this stream, I would have had him come out first.
Yeah, it's done on world ranking, I think, the order of this, so that's why.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so Sota, highest ranking because he's won multiple World Cups.
Nimrod just there on the screen, still trying for that first move. He seems to be going one-handed to it, and I wonder if he'll try two hands on his next go, having a brush.
Yeah, this stage clearing now, apart from our final two. 1 minute 12 on the clock.
You know how to clap, guys. We have a perfect sound for this.
When this wraps up, I'm going to head back and be with my athletes, and once they're into their circuit, I might come back and join you if you
Love
have
you,
me.
Tam. Yes, please do. I need some company here in the commentary box. There's Nimrod launching much better from him.
Fantastic. So he got the two-hand idea, got up to the second one. Body's still twisting quite a bit, but he's got the right idea now, and I think with 47 seconds, he's got good chance at his own, maybe even a top.
Yeah,
Manu is so strong, and just that pinch, just to hold that, is amazing.
Yeah, rotating those toes over as well. This is better from Manu.
And he's looking back for that toe hook he had before.
It's marginal, isn't it? Oh.
And let's see, when he releases the toe, it's going to come with a bit of a swing. Okay, well, a slip before the toe release.
I think that's done for Manu as well. 20 seconds, he looks tired. He'll want to save a bit of skin for later.
Right, Nimrod's having one more go.
Yeah, Manu's going to call it. Nimrod again. Less skin intensive this, and he's done as well, though, I think. All right, well, you got to go. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully see you in a bit. Best of luck.
Thanks so much.
And I'll see you soon.
You have the rhythm. You got it, guys.
And for the next rotation, still a full wall of climbers. In problem number 1, guys. With Random representing Bulgaria, Mr. Taher Alhaddad.
Well, we say goodbye to James, and Attila is on now. Our next athlete out, athlete number 9 from Hungary. As he enters our stage, and an interesting round so far. I thought Manu Cornu might run away with this, but he was struggling on the last two. Still, I think, enough points to make it through into the final. We'll have to wait and see on that. Hometown hero, Taher, on boulder number 2. Did really well on boulder 1, nearly got a top, but just slipping off the final move. There he is, Attila. Careful on these black slopey holds, creeping that right hand over, palm on. Nice and slow as he makes his way through. Gets the match in. This is good work from him now. Makes the match. Has a little look to the left now. He's secure at this point. That black volume is good to stand on. Has a left heel in though. Now makes his way towards the final hold. He'll want to be slow and steady here. Gets one hand on, little adjustments with the pinch. Brings the right hand through, shows control, and that will be a top from him. And a puff out of his breath. He did have to work pretty hard for that, certainly figuring it out through the bottom half of the boulder. Now let's see if Taher can make a top here. It'd be good if he could. He came so close on that boulder number 1. Pressing over to the right, has a look down, not comfortable at the moment, body being pushed back away from the wall. He commits to the jump, that is a top, and a celebration from him. I think I would be slightly worried about control on that one. You must make sure with those two hands. I think he has been given it by the judges. Yeah, you've got to match with two hands, show control before celebrating. If you're not that used to the format, it can sometimes catch you out, but I think it showed enough there. Certainly. The judges let him go on it. Michael working hard on the pinches here. This is where Manu started to get tired on his attempt on this boulder. It just burns your shoulders and legs. That's better from him though. Little twist of the left hand in order to reach through the overhang, hit the red hold. Adjustments being made here as he gets the match. comes onto the left crimp. This could be a top from Michael. Yeah, and a fist bump to celebrate there. With 2 minutes on the clock, he will leave the stage. And let's see, I think this is, no, not a replay here. Bit of a nasty fall down onto his shoulder though, from Chilambata. As James was saying earlier on, while there are one of our taller competitors, around about 6 foot, height, never really an issue about whether you climb a boulder or not, but it is always fascinating to see how the height affects the way you do the climb. And adjustments needing to be made either way on that one.
Come on, let's go again.
Chilambata making big moves. Chilambata there from earlier making some interesting links and sequences through the bottom of this boulder. Chalking up those hands. The heat now starting to build in the arena as we come up to, what time is it? Come up to 10:15 here in Saudi Arabia. And although the wall is protected, the heat itself does build to quite an intensity, but there's a wind blowing through the stadium here this morning, which is cooling things down for the athletes. Chilambata with a bit of a circle. Oh, he is in some trouble there, I think, holding on. Hopefully that's not too bad an injury. Grabbed his elbow, and it does look a little bit dead there as we flick away nicely from that shot to give him time to recover. He is getting some attention on the stage. Standing up though now. I don't think he's bad, but he will be leaving the stage on that one. And took the fall down. I'm not sure where he picked up that injury, whether it was in the move or when he hit the mats, but he has left the stage now. Might have been shoulder, I heard from the MC, so hopefully he's okay. We'll see if he comes out in the next round. Let's see some replays while we wait for the transition. Michael with a top, very impressive from him. Taher set this audience on fire with that launch to the left. Chilambata there, that's, I think he might have had that injury when he fell. He fell pretty hard onto that right-hand side. Alexei Panfilov from Kazakhstan is on his first boulder of the morning. As he enters the stage, a lot of teammates on the speed climbing circuit in Kazakhstan who are here. It's a big speed climbing setup, actually. World-class athletes out in the desert to compete on Wednesday. So he starts his way on the slab, creeping over to the right now. Nice and slow and careful on these opening moves, just making sure the feet don't slip unnecessarily. The hard bit is that rock over to come out the top. He's going to do the static method, stretches over, palms in play as he makes that body shift over to the right, the weight coming onto the right foot. And in the background, that's good progress there. Oh, look at that, we do have a top from the Malaysian athlete. Quantao getting it done nice and quickly on boulder number 2. And we stick here with Alexei as he presses his way up, eyes locked on that final volume, thumbs in play as he grabs a palm in. Hasn't got a pinch, and that did let him down. I think he wants to bring the thumb in underneath. Committed to the full sloper, but it's a nasty, nasty hold up there on top. You can see the dots. Let's see this from Quantao here. Eyed up the final jump, launched over. Great work from him, super confident. I think that's 2 out of 2 from him. Yeah, it is 2 out of 2, so maximum 60. Great work. Making another play for finals positioning here. Quick stuff from him.
Interesting way to do it, very physical for Nimrod.
Yeah, I'm being told by my spies on the inside that that injury was a forearm injury, so not shoulder like we thought. That was Chilambata's injury from earlier on. Nimrod on boulder number 4, pinching his way through. And there's Mark Scallon. Scanlon, sorry, I think he's saying Scallon, don't I? Scanlon. So Alex is on his final move as well. We stick with Mark here as he swings and lands really low, trying to break the beat to do it a little bit differently. Land down and hug that bottom blue volume. Interesting method, but it's a lot of momentum to take out of the drop down. And I think he's changed his mind, and no, he's doing it again. Okay, so he is sat. There is Alexei walking off, so he's got boulder number 1 done. Mark, little adjustments. The problem is you've got to spring from so low here. You've killed all the possible momentum you would gain from the jump, and you can see just struggling to generate that jump from such a low crouched position. So although you do kind of make progress by doing it like that, I'm not sure it's the correct progress to be made. Here's the top of Alexei. We saw him getting close. Now, let's watch him finish it off. Before he got a left hand in, but couldn't bring the right to match. Better from him, bringing that thumb into action. Alexei will lead the stage. So we know by about the halfway mark that boulder number 1, infinitely doable and important if you want to get into the finals. Boulder number 4, pretty brutal. We've seen 2 tops, I think, so far from Michael and Sota. Nasty pinches throughout that one. Mark will go again. Let's see if he changes his beat to here slightly. Yeah, he has. He's gone for the more traditional land, jump, spring method. First 2 boulders are done and dusted for this round. 30 seconds on the clock. The athletes will chalk up one last time, probably their final time on the boulder, especially for boulder number 4, which will burn you out. Mark launches better from him. He's just got 17 seconds. Will he go again? He looks like he might, actually. Yes, he is, so he'll go again. Nimrod, meanwhile, fighting with the toes, hits a left hand up. He's got to be quick with just 5 seconds on the clock. He'll have the zone, and I think he might have made the top if he had more time, but it's not going to be enough for him. Disappointment as he slaps his thighs in frustration there. Would have got timed out even if he managed to make the match. So, some replays of earlier on. We saw quick tops on the top half of the round. Both from Alexei. Kick on to out. Next up, another athlete from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As we hit our halfway mark in the competition, Nidal Dakran is out and about 22. 1 comp before this in terms of IFSC competitions. So he has a little bit of experience to draw on, but didn't get the start of that boulder correct. Up again, and that's better from him. Just had the angle ever so slightly wrong on the approach. Of course, for some of these athletes, nerves will really play a part in the opening boulder of this comp. You can see now pressing his way through, but didn't have the feet in the correct position for that. We'll have to have a little bit of a rethink and a brush. Attila, meanwhile, into the corner, looks left, eyes up the final hold. I think it's a pure commitment thing here. Not too bad once you go for it, as we can see as he goes left. Makes the match nicely. A little thumbs up to make sure from the judges. The judges will hold up the scorecard to indicate to the athletes that they have the score in the books. And appeals can come through on all competitions like this. There are less coaches at this Masters event than a World Cup, so I'm not expecting too many appeals, but just to let you know that the score might change when we go off air. It's quite a few minutes for people to put those appeals through. Nidal making progress here. Great shot, the focus on his eyes, but he can't make that transition over to the right. Now, interesting to see, Chilambata is back out. He was the gentleman with the forearm injury. No tape. And on the most physical boulder, he is competing, so that injury obviously okay enough for him to climb, which is good to see. And it might hold him back on such a powerful boulder with those pinches. Time ticks down, halfway through now, 2 minutes 30 on the clock. Such a unique climbing area. If you're switching on for the first time and you're wondering what on earth is going on, well, we're in the desert of Saudi Arabia, surrounded by these red sandstone cliffs. Glamping our way through these days. Everyone's staying intense. A big fall in the background, head first onto the mats. I think he's all right. Chinambata looking a little bit despondent, though, as he retreats to the edge of the matches. So yes, we're all in the desert. We're in tents. Lots of wonderful food on offer, lots of activities, stargazing, yoga. Bit of a climbing, working holiday out here in the desert. So Nidal going once more, brings that right foot onto the blue volume underneath him. We'll want to transition that weight down onto the forefront of his shoe, much rubber as possible. Creeps his way through to the right. His fingers digging into not very much on that black volume. As he looks right, finds the slopey side pull, getting some big encouragement from the audience here. Careful with the feet as he crosses through and then stretches right onto the black volume. This is poetry in motion here as he makes the moves look easy, crimping right on the very back of that volume. And there is the slightest crimp to be found, and on the blue one, but eventually after all that work he has to fall with a no-go. Chinambata lying in the shade for a moment to recover. And I think we have got James back in the commentary box, who has been dealing with his athlete in the background. So it'll be good to get some more insights from him, as he will come and join me in a few seconds here. So let's see Nidal once more back into this press position. So James, welcome back to the commentary box. How are your athletes doing back there?
Thanks, Matt. Oh, they're doing fantastic. I also, Chulan Batar had come back with an injury, and he was kind of nursing it himself, so I got to go over and check in on him and ask for some medics, because he wasn't doing as well as he thought.
Yeah, he's out there on the mats. I'm surprised he's still climbing, especially on such a powerful pinch boulder.
Yeah, he's going to hurt. He's going to feel it later. But, you know, when you have one shot at these kind of things, you really want to make the most of it. The reason why he was so late coming back out was his fingers were quite bloody as well. So they had to tape it up to avoid getting blood on the holds. So he lost a bit of time on that.
Oh, how he's been in a fight then on the mats, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
We're seeing some replays of his final moments here, giving it everything.
I think he'll be quite happy that he, you know, he went for it, gave it his all.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is your athlete out and about on the mats. Tell me a bit about this, gentleman.
Hui Yan Fai, the youngest of the 3 Fai brothers, all got to climb internationally, and they just kept getting better. Sorry, Bale, sorry, Fee. This is the first time he will be climbing at an IFSC level event. It's only the second time a Cambodian male athlete has had the chance to do this, so we really don't know how it's going to go, but I'm just excited to see him with that bib on his back, you know?
And tell me a bit about his strengths and weaknesses. What kind of boulders does he like to climb?
He is quite a dynamic climber. He would prefer something poppy, but, you know, he's been practicing a lot and trying to get good on the slab as well and get good on these more static moves. Even last night, he came over and asked if he could train the speed wall. And I was like, you know, you're here to Boulder, right? He's like, yeah, but we don't have a 15-meter speed wall in Cambodia. This is my only chance to train.
Wow.
And he just wants to be a well-rounded athlete.
Okay, well, there we go. He's not competing in the speed competition.
No, he's not. He's not. But he was training last night with some of the best speed climbers in the world. Well, actually, no, the best speed climbers in the world, like world record holders. And his Frederick is really like one of his idols from Indonesia, you know, fellow Southeast Asian. So he was just pumped to be climbing on the same wall as some of these guys.
Really cool. This is what we love about this competition.
Speaking of Southeast Asia.
Yes, I was about to say Kate Tao. So I can pronounce that wrong. I mean, Kate Kwan Tao. Is that right? Close?
Yeah, so I think it's Chun Tao.
Okay, Chun Tao.
Yeah.
Let's see how, I think he's looking to break the beta here as well. Yeah, it launches up.
He is. A lot of people seeing that beta break. It's not easy. That's a big, big jump. So debatable whether it's easier to go with the way the route setters intended it or not. These pinches, I don't think there's a possible break. There's just power.
It is the hardest boulder of the set for sure. Right, Alexei into the corner, hits the left foot. Oh, a little twist of his body underneath to get into the press position. And from here, everyone we've seen do it has just committed to this pop. As does he.
As does he.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need a bit of what's the word? Confidence on that move, I think.
That's right. Getting your feet in the right position is really, I think, 90% of that. Once your feet are confident, you can just push with your hands, throw yourself up. So, still got 3 athletes on the wall. Here's Yan Fai, or just Fai for short.
Yeah, we'll call him Fai. That's much easier as he makes his way over to the right. He was looking good, I thought, on the start of this boulder.
Yeah, he's a very strong athlete, and he's also, he learns quick. That's something I've always noticed about him in competition. Cambodian style, he's climbing with a chalk bag on.
Well, it's sweaty out there, right? You have to.
Well, I offered him a chalk bucket like all the rest of the athletes have, and he's like, no, James, I have my chalk bag. I said, okay.
I spent a fair amount of time myself climbing in Southeast Asia, so I'm aware of how important that chalk bag is.
You do get really sweaty there.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going for kind of pushing off his right hand to get his left hand over first, then going for the move. So he's learned from his first attempt.
Come on, Mark, come on.
All right, so he has that right foot right hand in play now. Better with the feet as well. Just needs to bring that left hand away from the volley when he does, dropping down low.
And I'm really curious to see how high he gets his foot here. I think he's got the flexibility to get it placed right down. Almost got the heel on. Can he get the foot right down in the press? Yes.
That's a better position for that heel. It was too high to start with.
Yeah, and now he's just got to press through. Actually, we just had nationals in Cambodia 2 weeks ago, and one of the final boulders had almost the exact move in the final move. It was that lean over press up to something you couldn't really hold. You had to press into it. That's unfortunate. Still got a minute to go, though.
Yeah, one hand on the top. He's getting closer. Can't rest for that long. And this is where inexperience plays a part. He's got to go soon.
Exactly. So he's gone up already, and over here, Jintao is having a good swing.
Trying for the beta break, I think.
Yeah, well, he went for the middle one that time.
It is a long, long way. You've got to have a big flick, and he didn't quite have it that time.
Yeah. Being one of our shorter climbers as well. I mean, just, you know, the genetics in Southeast Asia tend towards shorter. So you're going to have to look at boulders slightly differently.
Well, Mark will have one last go at this powerful boulder number 4. That's the jib for the right hand I was talking about. It's not positive, though. It just gives you something extra. And then just pure
better than
pinches.
nothing.
Yeah. Bring
And
the
you can
left.
get your thumb on it as well, I think. Or maybe not.
I think for that next move, yes, when you drop into it, he missed it, actually, that time.
Okay.
So Mark will leave the stage. Not sure if he got the zone on that, but certainly not a top.
No. And Yan Fai without the top on that one, but a really good showing. And at an IFSC event, getting a zone even is a big thing for us.
Yeah. Well, we have that scoreboard you just saw, 220, so perfect scores. Everyone else a little under that. Remember, we're looking for just 6 to move forward into the next round. 5th position currently drawn. We'll have to wait and see on that. Alexandra from is out and about onto the mats. Actually, I had a talk with him later on from Mauritius. First time we're seeing Mauritius in a World Cup. Oh, not what this is in the World Cup, is it? An IFSC event.
IFSC event, yeah. I mean, it feels like a World Cup when you're here. It feels like a World Cup level. It's the same setters from the World Cups. It's similar wall, and we've got the Entreprise boulder here, almost like the Titan boulder from the Paris Olympics. So it really is that high level without necessarily all that pressure of a World Cup.
Yes, exactly. Although we do have a couple of athletes in the mix. Agathe Kali, for example, she'll climb tomorrow. Manu, of course, and Sota we've already seen. Right, Nidal making his way through. Just needs to commit now. Not too hard from here. Gets himself set for this pop and a jump. No, I think his foot slipped.
Yeah.
And he shows close to the watching coaches.
But he's all the way to the top move, and he's got 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Lots of time.
That's Radix there. Attila, who's waiting, looking a little bit lost on the mats. Stick with Nidal, though, as he will look to go again. 3 minutes 30. And sensibly having a bit of a sit down and a rest. He knows how close he came.
Yalla, yalla.
This is Taher on his final boulder of the round. Did actually pretty well, got deep into the pinches. And this is Taher who, and I was right earlier on when I said I arm wrestled him. I did arm wrestle him. He's a arm wrestling champion, transitioned into climbing, obviously found grip strength quite an easy thing.
I mean, no offense to you, Matt, but I can see how you did not win.
Look, I had bad shoulders, okay? I've had multiple operations. I was also, you know, not trying hard. It was raining. Conditions were terrible.
I was more meaning because he's huge.
He's massive, yeah. Big arms that lad has.
And our friend from Mauritius here, Alexander, I've not met him yet, but also exciting to see more Asian countries that we just haven't seen at these level of events.
Yeah. That's great. He was warming up very early on. He was one of the first ones on the warm-up wall this morning when I was getting my coffee. So hopefully he's got some skin left.
Yeah. Well, as you said earlier, sometimes lack of experience plays into these things.
All right, Attila will go back, and that isn't Attila. Yes, it is Attila.
It is Attila, yeah. Earlier when you said he was looking a bit lost on the mats, I get the feeling he was eyeing up that beta break that we've been talking about.
Ah, so he was trying to spot something, yeah.
Yeah, he was thinking about that skip, which he did just go for the skip to the middle hold. The skip to the zone we've seen already now a couple times today. It's debatable whether it's easier than just going through the beta the way the route setters intended it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Not many have made it work, to be fair. So it's obviously, and they will have tested that. You know, they'll have seen it, and they will have deemed that it was difficult enough not to change the boulder.
Yeah.
But I think if you're a tourer, it might help a little bit.
Absolutely. And here he goes again to the second one. Because realistically, if he goes to the second one, it's the same move as the blue one. You still have to catch the swing and go backwards towards the zone hold, whereas straight to the zone, it's just straight up into a jug.
Yeah, good point. So Taher will have 1 minute 13 to work this out. He's not stopped really on this boulder.
No, he keeps going, throwing himself at the wall. I have been impressed by his pinch strength, as you pointed out, former arm wrestling athlete.
Yep.
So very good pinch strength.
It's funny, isn't it? Of all the sports I would have thought as a transition to climbing, that is not one of them.
I mean, now that we say it, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense, exactly.
Yeah, his teammate Nidal is still struggling with this top move. Getting his feet in the right place, I think, is really what's missing here.
Yeah, the first time he did it was his closest. He's gone a bit backwards from there.
Yeah, the confidence of the feet on that dyno it's important.
Right, so he'll have to quickly come up with a solution with 30 seconds on the clock. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't get this done as well. He's had almost 2 hands on it.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go, 4 athletes on the mats, and they're all still throwing themselves at it. None of them have quit. I like to see that grit and determination.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think we're going to see any tops, though. Taher going once more on the pinches. Why not? A little drag down with the left toe, but no, that's not going to be enough. So no tops this round as we rotate through. Clock ticks down, the athletes will leave the stage, the brushes will do their jobs, and we wait for the next athlete out. Who I think is your athlete again, haven't we? Yanfai?
Yeah, Yanfai's
he's already
on
been.
Boulder
Sorry,
too. He's already been, so we should be seeing Daigoro Nunez from Bolivia.
Yes.
And actually, Venezuela, El Salvador, Bolivia, a lot of Central American countries in this competition as well.
Climbing is getting bigger there. We saw it last year for the Olympic qualifier. It was part of a big multi-sport event, and it's one to watch. And we're going, of course, to Brazil next year for the IFSC World Cup.
That's exciting. Which city?
I know, but I cannot remember.
Okay.
Actually, do I know? Am I allowed to say? I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's one of the two.
So here's Yanfai coming up on something that's a little bit probably more in his wheelhouse, because he's going to get his feet and then go for a jump and catch a big round knob at the top there. I think he'll... maybe he won't make quick work of it, but I think given a couple tries, there's a strong chance he has a top here.
Yeah, you said he liked poppy moves.
He does. He likes popping. Yeah.
Up he goes.
There he goes on a flash, just like that.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, it's hard to... I don't want to monopolize all the time on talking about Cambodian athletes, but it's what I know, and it's hard to overemphasize that that's now the Cambodian record for bouldering.
Wow.
You know, that's a national record for us, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but when your program is so new and growing, it's really exciting to see an athlete flash a boulder at a World Cup level event.
Exactly. I mean, all of you are building towards the same goal, and it takes coaches' gyms also, and I know you have a gym as well.
Yeah, we have one in Phnom Penh. We're building one in Siem Reap. I know the Bolivian athlete who's on right now, I was talking to them actually at a different event and talking to some of their people. They also didn't have anywhere to climb. They didn't have gyms for a long time, and then somebody went and just built a gym. And so they, you know, you can have athletes, you can have strong climbers, you can have people who are excited, but if you don't have the infrastructure, that's a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a strong challenge.
If you don't have a training facility, you can't really get better.
Exactly. So right now, you know, for us in Siem Reap, we're building a gym at the moment. It's a bit stalled in construction, but you know, until we have that facility open, none of our Siem Reap athletes can really train. And so our Phnom Penh athletes have a strong advantage in that there's 2 climbing gyms currently operating in Phnom Penh. Only one of them has a boulder wall. So, you know, there's really one place to train at the top level of bouldering in the whole country.
I think it's something we tend to take for granted sometime in Europe is, you know, those facilities which we have in such abundance.
Yeah, North America as well.
Yeah. All right, well, Dago here is making some progress. Right foot out, starts to press away from the black volumes. His weight not quite in the correct position at the moment, though. It's too far to the left. Goes for that dynamics thing we saw earlier on.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's tempting as a boulderer to do things dynamic that you really ought to do static. I will have to leave in about 15 minutes, go back again and help Pektra, our other athlete, make sure he gets ready. But once they're in the circuit, I just sort of leave them alone and let them do their thing, maintain their headspace.
James, you do whatever's good for you. It's lovely to have you here in the box with us.
Right. Ooh, Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I think that's, who is that? Alexei, I think we're watching.
I believe it's Alexei, yeah.
And he's also holding his shoulder there, looking a bit concerned for a moment.
Yeah.
It's our Bolivian athlete we were talking about earlier on. Minute 30 left on the clock in this round, and 2 boulders done. No, 1 boulder done. So
and Chun Tao from Malaysia here. I really, again, the pinch strength that it takes to stay on the wall at this 4th boulder, it's impressive, and I've been impressed by a lot of these athletes just staying on the wall there. Most of them have not been able to progress past that overhang. So really highlighting for you, like, you know, when Sota flashed it, like, what an amazing athlete he is.
Yes, he is indeed. I think the favourite to win that. He was out first, flashed all of the boulders, maximum score. We will see him in the finals later on. All right, he goes again here. Better with the feet on that opening sequence. Needs to get those hips over to the right, though. Press away from the black volume towards the blue. And that right foot.
He's going with a bit of a drop knee, which is maybe odd. And that could be where he's losing his foot.
I understand his thinking because it's slightly angled, so he's wanting to obviously push against it, but I don't think it's the way.
With her, one of the things, I myself am not a very strong climber, but you know, being a gym owner, you end up coaching a lot, and especially kids. And being around climbing for so long, you start to learn the little tips and tricks. And one thing that I've been able to help a few athletes with is knowing when to use a toe and when to use a pad. And I think just now with Daguerreau, he was really trying to put his toe on that hold when he really needed more surface, he needed more friction.
Let's just have a look at the scores here. Sota leading the way over Michael. We just saw him Quantauque on 3rd with 69, and then close behind him is Manu Cornu in 4th. Not the best round from him. I would have expected a bit more. Nimrod underneath for 68, so a couple of draws along the way. We're looking for just 6 athletes to progress, remember. And there's a new format in the finals as well. 2 2-minute rounds for the athletes. So if they do it in the first 2 minutes, obviously they won't return. And then we have an elimination at the end, and all of them will take on boulder number 4. It's going to be interesting. Make sure you join us. It's scheduled on the YouTube channel, so you can subscribe and watch it.
And here's Nelson from El Salvador. I was having a chat with him during the warm-up. He's really excited. His first time at a competition outside of El Salvador at all.
Wow. What a comp to come to.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But he's just excited. He's a very passionate young man, so keen to see what he can do here.
Yeah, he's sort of kicked things off on the slab for us, down on the left.
Have we got Attila here on boulder number 4?
Yeah, that's Attila there from Hungary, making his way into the pinches. Needs to get those toes locked in there. He's going for a kind of a bicycle on the middle hole.
Pinching between his feet to gain some progress. Very smart. And it worked. Worked a charm.
Yeah, I didn't think it would, to be honest, but it has worked for him. So he's a move away now on boulder number 4.
Just like that.
Slightly rounded left-hand crimp, though. It's hard to make this big pop. He's in.
That'll do a lot for his score after his struggle on boulder number 3 and not getting the top there. So we'll see what that does to the scores in a minute.
Yeah, suddenly Manu Cornu's score looks a little bit risky. I said we'd probably see him in finals. Maybe not. All drama in the desert here.
All drama in the desert.
Yeah, so 90, yeah, quite a way above Manu's score on that one. That's the gentleman you were talking about. Had a few falls so far as he tries to get to grips with the slab.
I have a lot of compassion for these guys because most of these holds, they're holds that they've never touched. You know, same thing for our athletes. We don't have these kind of holds in our gyms. So when we get here, one of the first things we do is we just jump on that boulder wall in the training area and just touch every little hold.
Yeah.
And just get a feel for it. Know, you know, where is it positive, where is it negative,
and just
where's the grip.
Explain that a little bit more for those who don't know. There's only a certain amount of holds that you can use for competitions, and especially places like Europe, the athletes will get to test the holds and try them out, because when you have, especially on-site formats, you don't know what you're holding on to, so hold knowledge is important.
Exactly. Well, if you look closely, you'll see a lot of brands on the holds. Entreprise, Blocks, Super has some holds on the wall. So these brands are the ones that support the IFSC and support these events by providing world-class holds. It's hard to buy those, especially from Europe into countries like El Salvador and Bolivia and Cambodia. So getting a chance to actually just try these holds is something for these athletes that's new and exciting.
Absolutely. Well, that's the challenge they have ahead of them. Nelson, or Edgardo, we should say, is, I think he's got the zone awarded, not the top. Nelson, we call him Nelson. Fair enough. Yeah, he's got 4 names.
Yeah, yeah. Classic Hispanic situation. Nelson Edgardo Linares Arias.
There we go. I'm glad you're saying that. Well,
I used to speak Spanish.
You used to?
Then I had moved to Cambodia. I had to learn Khmer, and all my Spanish fell out of my head.
That's fair enough. I've only got enough room for English in mine.
Yeah. He's really struggling, but I think when we see him on some of the more power dynamic boulders, it might be a little bit different. The slab is technically the easiest boulder out there, but if it's not your style, it's not your style. And that's something that's a factor in these comps.
Yes, there's a nice range of styles actually in this quali round.
Yeah, there really is.
Slabs to power pitches and coordination moves.
Yeah.
And nothing too outlandish as well, which is good to see.
Yes, the Roadsiders were definitely looking at the field and giving a nice spread.
Yeah, well, we creep down to Nelson's feet here, and he's not enjoying that transition over.
No, he's not.
And he has
Seeing he has 40 seconds, he's really running back at the wall.
He's trying to look at the span here, so trying to measure it up with his arms.
And Nadal pulling back on to number 3 with 20 seconds to go. Hometown guy, well, probably very, very far from his hometown. Saudi's a really big country.
It always surprises me when I get on a 2-hour flight, domestic, to go across the country. It's not even halfway across it. Yeah. It is huge.
Well, being from Canada, I get it.
That's true.
You know, I got to New Zealand before I even ever got to Vancouver, so. The top again from Attila.
Yeah, this was much earlier on in the round, and a great performance with the bicycle in the middle. Oh, look how many fingers he's got taped up as well. I didn't see that before. That was Nelson's fingers. Yeah. He must have ruined them in warm-up.
I'm wondering if that might be actually what happened, if he overdid it a little bit in warm-up.
I did climb in the warm-up area, and I shredded my fingers very quickly.
I know Phi also has some fingers taped. He's back out now in Boulder 3, and that was from last night. He shredded his fingers up, kind of going hard at the training area. Wow. Okay. But again, it's getting used to the holds, getting used to what the wall might throw at you.
Yep. No, they are rough back there. Okay, next athlete is out on the stage here. This is Carlos.
Also from El Salvador.
Yeah. Two athletes competing together. Well, on the same rounds anyway. And from Cambodia, go on, your guy once more.
Hui and Phai. Yeah, Phai is going to be... I don't mean to make too many predictions, but he's going to struggle for a few attempts at this style of jump. It's not something that we have to train on. We don't have a gym that has this particular kind of angle of attack where we can drop back down onto something and then be jumping out left, because it's overhanging, but it's also hanging out to the left. So it's not just a straight overhang.
Yeah.
So he'll give it a few tries and then we'll see what happens.
It's a good point, that, because these kind of cordo moves, although the World Cup competitors are very used to them, if you go to a commercial gym, for example, you don't. I mean, I run away from them whenever I see one. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to learn that, and it does take a while to get into your body.
It is. I mean, the more parkour style that's been coming in, I'm excited about it. It makes for excellent television. It's really exciting to watch, but it's hard to train.
Yep, it is. And starting young is helpful on that one.
Exactly.
So here we go, creeping over to the right again. All four fingers heavily taped up. Not what you want to see on your first boulder of a round.
No, that's so Carlos and his teammate Nelson, both a lot of tape. And yeah, probably just from having holds that have a lot more friction than they're used to. Shredding up in the warm-up.
Yeah, so tricky start for him. He's up against it immediately here. So all four boulders still being climbed here, but that camera rotating through. The sun has gradually drifted its way over. The wall's still sheltered, but you can see a bit of the mats now in the sun.
You know, something worth pointing out, last year with the Olympic Solidarity Program with IFSC, where they invited countries that had federations but didn't have a presence in the World Cup circuit. Right now, I'm looking at the wall, El Salvador, Bolivia, Cambodia, and then even Kazakhstan, all fairly new to the circuit. And so a whole wall full of countries that last year or 2 years ago you wouldn't have seen.
No, it's true. Yeah, it is good to see. We obviously, you know, we bring countries in and then we want to start raising the standards, but that takes time.
It does.
You know, and you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, it's exciting to see the sport growing.
Yes, it is. Well, if I goes again, starts this swing that he has been struggling with a bit. Kicking off. Good movement with the hips, though. He's got the right idea. He's just not lashing up enough.
No, he's not. And I'm wondering, I mean, shorter, definitely, than a lot of the athletes out here. And that distance, when you see him trying to kick off the yellow hold at the bottom, he's just using his tippy toe to get there. I'm wondering if he should be trying to look a little bit more at the top of the blue volume instead of the yellow.
Well, that was a replay of it. If you watch the angle of his hips, the swing kind of ends itself 3/4 of the way through. Yeah, so that's where he's struggling.
Yeah.
So Carlos is going again. Again, that's a bit better with the jump.
Yeah. He had an opportunity to go to Vietnam a month ago and compete at a really great, it's called Rocktober in Vietnam, push climbing, and a bunch of Vietnamese athletes and a few Cambodian athletes. And it was really exciting to watch. They did a live stream, so we were all in the gym, you know, live stream, got a projector, live streamed it. And there was actually a really similar move that he and our other Cambodian athlete just didn't have the headspace for, was this swinging back and forth and trying to get your momentum right. Yeah. And neither of them got the top on that boulder. So this is actually a really similar situation he's in now. And I think he'll really learn something out of this.
Yes, you can't hide from these cordo jumps. Like, they're out there if you're going to compete at this level.
That's right. And you know what? This is probably going to change the route setting in our gym for the better.
So Carlos goes again. 30 seconds on the clock here, and not much progress being made. Alexei came close to holding the pinch. We saw it on the screen before this, but now he's resting. Feig is not going to get this, and I think he will leave in a minute.
He might give it one more go. He's probably of the mind to keep going as long as he can.
20 seconds, or less than 20 seconds now. He's changed the angle here so slightly, so he's looking to kind of run over to the left now.
Yeah, see, now using the top of the volume as I thought he might have done, but he's really struggling with the direction.
Yes, he is. One hand on it, but it's not going to be enough this time. We're going to leave the stage. So no tops in this round. And a few zones.
A few zones, yeah. Alexei gave a really good showing for Kazakhstan.
Well, that's our leaderboard at the moment. The top, well, joint fives, but in the six. Manu might be safe at this point now. I was a bit nervous for him earlier on.
Tao in third, fourth place right now because of the joint first place. I mean, that's pretty exciting for Malaysian athletes.
He's done very, very well. Yeah, Michael and Sota flashing everything with that 120.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to excuse myself and make sure our other athletes
Of course. I'll see you later, mate. Have a good one. Right, so we have another athlete out on the mats. Shanil here in action. From Mauritius as well, the second of those athletes coming through. Running and jumping into position. Well, not jumping, running into position, I should say, to start things off. Way more than halfway through now. About 7 athletes to go on this round. We're in the desert of Saudi Arabia, and there is one of our Saudi Arabian athletes in action. Nadal will finish things off on these pretty brutal pinches. We've talked a lot about how hard those moves are, and it is difficult to underestimate it, or overestimate it, I should say. They're really tricky. As I said earlier, I went and had a touch of those holds, and I thought, ooh, not sure I could get anywhere near that boulder. That's a hard way to finish the round. But the slab on boulder number 2, on boulder number 1 and 2, to be fair, both doable. We haven't seen some tops in a while now. Nelson back on that boulder number 2. Big move up to a crimp, which is doable, but you then got to get your feet engaged. And there's some no-techs as well, where the surface of the holds is slippery. Possible toe hooks in action there. About an hour remaining on this competition as we come up to around about 11 AM here. I think still quite early in the morning if you're watching from Europe. But hello if you're joining us. From the rest of the world, I have no idea what time it is. Lost all track of time. This is the final IFSC style event of the season. The World Cup circuit finished in Seoul, in Korea. Nadal is trying to take his time through this, resting well. 2 minutes to go. It's Nelson on boulder number 2. Shanil going once more on the slab, trying to get as much skin as possible involved on that black volume. Pressing his head in there, I think, almost for a moment as he presses with the right palm. And it bobbles off and he falls once again. And this jump over to the left has proven really hard for some of the athletes, especially those not used to jumping, as we were saying earlier on. And this gym system that we were talking about, it's important. Nadal shaking out that left hand in a bit of pain there. Sliding down one of the pinches that can steal your skin away in a heartbeat. Shanil struggling here, looking right, looking left, runs into position. Holds the first sloper, that's been no problems. It's the second sequence of moves. As I said that, he falls off, but the second sequence of moves is where he's really been having a difficulty. There's Alexander Yan there. Coming off. Shanil will go once more. Oh, he wants to bring that right hand over, trying to take it away, but the second he does, his body starts to trick him and take him off backwards. So he needs a little bit of a rethink. Boulder 2 is done. I think we saw... I'm not sure we saw a top there. I think the athlete's leaving a little bit earlier to save some of that skin. Danilo will carry on, goes again, looks right, hits the palm. Weirdly, the second the clock started going down, he actually moved a little bit better. We often see that sometimes, actually, that it means you think less if you've got to get it done fast. Well, a good round, Nadal as well will finish things off his comp. Done. Keep an eye on the leaderboard in a minute. Remember, that is that IFSC app you can download with all the results on that. Venezuela is out. Gianstefano Danino will climb in a second as we watch these replays and Nadal coming down. There he is. Gianstefano into position, just 21. Venezuela, again, one of these up-and-coming nations, one to watch out for in the future. But as we near the end of this competition, the athletes, remember, ranked in world ranking order. I think we're going to see a few more athletes struggling with some of these sequences, even on the boulders that we know are more toppable. Look how much tape he's got going on there. I think he's certainly overdone the warm-up. Unless it's an injury prevention, but I think that is more of a skin taping issue. Quite a few of the athletes, and they, as I said, the warm-up area at the back, it's a good one, but the holds are pretty rough. I experienced this myself yesterday. You've got to be careful. There's a fine line between warming up and ruining yourself. He has a little bit of a nod. And Bolivia in the background, I think that's Daigo out there. And this is White. James, the Cambodian coach, is back with his athlete now. He's been joining me throughout this broadcast, giving some nice insights, not only on Cambodian climbing, but of course, some of these athletes that we're getting to know here this morning. Good work from him, halfway through this boulder now. Gianstefano making some strong progress as he creeps that right hand out towards the blue sloper. And fast work with the feet as he drops in. This is great from him. Lots of time on the clock as well as he hits the right hand. Right, rock over to come now. He'll want to bring that left foot up, probably with a heel. Heel is in. Starts this rock over, pressing, but this is a really tricky move. It's far above his head. He's got about half a meter to go now. Left hand in, but went a bit too fast on the final move. Cleans off the shoes. We'll have another little think about that. Degro there, cleaning off the shoes with 2 minutes 20, checks the clock. This run and jump has caused a few people to pause and reconsider it. It's a good angle from him, hits right hand on, but again, hips going away from the wall. Carlos on boulder number 2, pulls on, sets himself for that high move to the crimp. It's a long way above your head, that. Some athletes have made it look like a non-move, it's so easy, but it's further than it looks. Gianstefano did well on his last round, came within one hand of topping it out. Has he saved something? Has he got something left in the tank here? Comes over to the right, matching with both hands on the blue sloper. This is where he got to last time. He planted that left heel before. Starts to push away, and the tape will not be helping the friction on his skin there. Down he comes. So, big move out to the jib that's screwed on. Doesn't really give you much, just a little bit of something for the thumb, as you can see, as he makes the adjustment with the left. These pinches, forearm intensive, finger intensive. And you need to rest more than the other boulders. He's only got 30 seconds. I'm not sure that's enough time for him to completely recover. Meanwhile, Gianstefano will want to convert this one hand on the top into a proper top, show some control, has an eye on the clock. Last chance then as he starts this rock over move. palming down with the left hand, right hand nearly slipped, saved it. Don't do it too quickly though. Creeping upwards, and just didn't quite open the hips enough to be able to get that right hand and left hand into play properly. He will leave the stage, over to the right. The reason they do that, by the way, is just the flow of athletes, because you can see them gathering on the left, so we don't want them bumping into each other on the way out. So, 5 athletes to come, and then we'll start to wind down this comp. Probably about 45 minutes to an hour left to go in the semi-finals. Next up is a Cambodian athlete, and we've got a Cambodian coach going to join me once more, so he can give us the lowdown. But I interviewed this gentleman last year for the Universality program. So James, you've just been backstage. Tell me a little bit about the man we're watching now.
Well, I'm glad I went backstage because he thought he was on the next rotation. I love this kid. He's actually a staff member at our gym. He's one of our route setters. You were just mentioning he was in Italy last year. When he came back, his route setting had just taken a new level, and it's really been cool to see him progressing as a staff member. He's still competing. He's in this borderland between he kind of wants to route set for nationals, but he also wants to compete at nationals. So he helped route set for some of the youth stuff, and then was competing.
Well, there he is on your screen now, big smile on his face. So he thought he was in the round before this?
No, next one. He wasn't putting his shoes on and stuff because he was assuming he was next. And I was like, hey, you gonna get out there?
Want to do some climbing? Yes. Yeah. I hope he hasn't ruined his skin, as we've seen quite a few people seeming to.
He's done a lot better. He's a bit older and more experienced. He's probably for Cambodia, I mean, at current standings, he's Cambodia's #3 boulderer. Am Long is another staff member at our gym. He actually got silver at nationals last week, 2 weeks ago. But, we had already booked the tickets and everything like that. So obviously we were, based on last year's standings, Pektra was silver. And so he also has a bit more age and experience, knows a bit more about the sport aspect, resting, how to approach warm-ups, things like that. Another reason why we selected him for this trip. And I think it shows in his careful placement, his slow moves. I mean, we're watching him right now from above. I don't know if you just saw the hole in the toe of his shoe when he put it up there. It's second-hand shoes from Singapore.
Oh. Someone give that man some sponsorship immediately.
That's why I brought it up. Phi is already off the wall. Unfortunately, I missed his last boulder. I assume he didn't top it.
He didn't top it, but he did pretty well.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it looked good on the pinches.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah,
his shoe, I was asking him, I think his were secondhand from Japan. And he said, oh, no, I got these from Seha. Saul Sehas are like the head route setter for Cambodia. And I said, oh, well, Seha got them secondhand from Japan. So those are third-hand shoes on one of our athletes, second-hand on another.
Oh, wow.
And I said to Pektra when he was packing, I was like, well, do you want different shoes? Because we have some that don't have holes in the toes. He's like, no, these are my shoes. I'm comfortable. And, okay.
Fair enough. Well, he's doing well, in fact. Got close to the top. We watch him as he goes again over to the right.
Yeah. And this is something I've loved about watching Pektra's style, is like, look how close he is to the wall with his hips. He's slow, he's methodical. When it calls for power, he can move, he can dyno, but this is something that I've always liked about his climbing style, is that he thinks it through. You can see him looking at his placement, just getting onto it nice and slow. All right, unfortunately, he's not quite getting the hip turn. As he got his foot on, he started to go up with his hip straight. He needs to turn his hip in just a little bit so that he can press through.
Yeah, he wasn't enjoying that, was he, at all, that hip movement we're watching here. Alexander.
Alexander, another new athlete to the circuit, right?
Yeah, and on his last boulder, he's taking off the tape. You might as well at this point with a minute to go. Yeah, the judges do have a lookout for blood. You can't climb bleeding, but they will push their luck, all the athletes, through that.
I love the smile here on Nelson as he comes rolling off of Boulder 3. I think he's just excited to be here.
Exactly. Well, Pektra has 47 seconds if we see a replay of his previous go here.
There you go. There's the hero shot.
Yeah. So much focus on his face as he makes his way over. And then the heel, though, let's watch those hips. Starts to rock, starts to push, but the hip's not really moving outwards.
Exactly, yeah. And if I can break the fourth wall for a second here, the cameramen at this event are fantastic. The camera work has been really good. I've been watching kind of from the background, and I've really been enjoying whoever's doing the cutting and cutting between cameras. They're doing a great job.
I know who's doing the cutting, and I'm sure he won't want me to mention his name, but he is a regular on the IFSC circuit and a man who knows what he's doing under director's chair. So that's good to see. Thank you very much, sir. Right, Pector, 4 seconds to go. Rocking up.
Having a go. No top for him there, which, you know, he's still got a chance to beat Yan Fai. And I think between the two of them, that might be more the competition than trying to get to the top of the leaderboard.
Well, let's have a look at that leaderboard. Sota Amagasa and Michael still leading the way. Down in the 6th place is Nimrod. He's in the danger zone, but I think he might be safe with the athletes we've got to come.
Yeah.
That could be our top 6.
Representing Guam. Very exciting.
Yeah, Noah is out. 28 years old, no IFSC comp, so this is his first one.
He's huge. I was just back there. I mean, probably shouldn't have been chatting with them when they're about to go out, but he's just such a friendly guy. He came over and said hello to me and asking, because I didn't know what GUM stood for. Yeah. He said Guam. And to me, that sounds like a Southeast Asia kind of area. You know, they're very near the Philippines, but actually they're in the Oceania circuit.
Yeah, they were in the Seoul World Cup, a few of them, and we did some filming with them. Yeah. It's just so good to see different nationalities and nations coming through. And this is not bad from him. That right foot isn't steady yet, though.
No. Yeah, coming through, keeping a little closer to the wall will serve him well. He's a top-heavy athlete, shall we say. He's got some massive shoulders on him.
That's a good way to describe it, yeah. So progress here from Venezuela.
Oh, fantastic.
Nino on the last move in a minute as he wraps himself underneath this blue zone hold. Kicks left, right, now we know, just go, don't think about it.
Yeah.
Palms up,
just
has
big old push and jump, and jump. There it is.
Hey, a top. That's been a while, that's good to see. And a quick one as well.
Yeah, very quick.
Wasn't a flash, but it was close.
No, Mr. Danino from Venezuela giving a thumbs up on going the wrong way, but that's okay. These are all things you learn.
Exactly, well, let's watch this again. Full commitment, lovely move to the top of that boulder. Good pop to finish things off, and a 38.0 his total score with a flash, not a flash, a top and a zone, as you could see from the boxes down left. Great work. Right, back to Noah. 3 minutes on the clock, hits the right hand, but falls, not comfortable yet.
No, I wonder, you know, we were talking about style and what kind of style is your style, and I wonder if slab is something that's a little less confident for him.
Yeah, those muscles imply an overhang is where
yes,
he wants to be.
They imply power. Definitely do.
All right, palming out towards the right now again. Lots of time on the clock, of course, and one boulder done from Nelson earlier on. I love this shot, whoever's getting this, our camera team. Hidden behind the volume, and then you emerge out behind it.
This is probably his best go so far at it. He's tightened into the wall a little bit. He's coming down through low. He can get his hand on. He might be more confident about his foot. Pulling off again.
Big smile on his face as well, enjoying being out there on the mats.
We used to say that at each attempt you learn something else.
I'm well, again, not much of an athlete, but I'm a lot more bottom heavy, so slab is kind of my jam.
We're watching Carlos on not a slab, on a jump here, and he's not getting the range at the moment.
I think I may have said it earlier, but that wall, it's not just overhung, but it's also coming out to the left. So you're not just jumping up and away. You're not just jumping up and out. You're jumping up, out, and away. And I mean, I'm impressed by any athlete that can stick that move.
Yeah, it's 3 things in your head.
Yeah,
you got to keep that, and you've got to get the right angle as well.
Exactly. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, 2 athletes out once as he gets the big heel in. Did pretty good progress here, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, he's showing some really good grip strength, our Bolivian friend. Look at that shot.
It's great, isn't it? Well, that's our camp. We've said it a few times, but if you missed it, the black tents are our sleeping quarters. Wall down on the left, obviously, and then on the right of your screen, that's the catering area. There's a fire there. The athletes hang out at night. And there's lots of events that take place in the desert around us. Stargazing, yoga. No camel riding.
No camels yet. We've been trying to find the camels.
They're out there. They are
They're
out there. Yeah, I've seen a few so far, but I haven't had a chance to ride.
We did find one petroglyph of a camel.
Okay.
It's like a rock carving, which I mean, I don't know the history here well enough to know if it's ancient or just some recent graffiti, but it looked pretty old to me.
We're amateur archaeologists here at the Coventry Box.
Yes.
So Noah's got 24 seconds. He's not going to get it on this attempt. Maybe he has time to go again. He might have got the zone. 10 seconds. Brings that right foot over, hits the zone hold. No more progress from Noah this time as he leaves us.
Nice wave to the crowd, though. He's, again, a really nice young lad. I had a nice chat with him in the back. He's a really friendly guy.
Yeah. So, 3 athletes remaining on this round before we start losing some boulders. Vadim up next from Kazakhstan. There he is in the background, tall climber.
It's Vadim's first time out on the mats then, hey?
Yes, it is, ever, in fact. It's just 22.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
But,
at this level, I should say. I'm sure he's bouldered before.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he has. Vadim sporting the changed spelling of Kazakhstan as well. For any pub quizzers out there, there's now 2 countries in the world that start with a Q.
Hang on, wait, Kazakhstan spelled with a Q?
If you look at the back of his shirt in a second when the camera goes there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've adjusted their alphabet and they've moved away from Cyrillic towards the Latin alphabet.
Oh, wow.
Not that you need to know any of this for a bouldering competition.
No, I want to know it. Well, I mean, wow, that's blown my mind.
Yeah, just a few years ago that happened. So actually, one of the athletes has a jacket that says Kazakhstan with a K,
okay.
and his shirt says Kazakhstan with a Q.
Incredible. I didn't know this.
Pectora coming through, and this, he should top this.
Looking good, isn't he? Easily.
There you go.
Yeah.
Susu Pectora.
Great work from Pectora. Gets boulder 2 done. Didn't get the first one. Second one is his, though, and he has gone the wrong way, so I think he's going to be directed. There we go. No, wait.
They said, forget it. Just go that way. It's fine.
There's not as many athletes waiting back there now. So, Vadim.
Copy Vadim.
Vadim, yeah. He's got 3 minutes 30 on the clock. What's the time?
Oh, yeah. Heaps of time. Down at the far end of the mats, we still got 2 athletes there as well.
Yes, I'm trying to work out who that is.
Chanel from Mauritius, I believe, then, is that?
I think it might be. I can't see a bib number. Yes, it is, yes. Yeah. So he's down on boulder 3. And then on boulder 4, I think it's Nelson.
Yeah, it would be Nelson.
Yeah.
But
Vadim right
here
now.
on boulder 1, we got Vadim. Unfortunate little foot slip there.
Yeah, that sent him quickly down. He'll grab the brush, just making sure of it. We haven't got too many athletes coming through these, and the sand I was worried about hasn't been blowing. It's not too windy this morning.
No, it's been good. The sand here is really beautiful, really fun, but can cause problems.
Yeah. Yes, it's everywhere you go. It's in every orifice of my body, every shoe, every sock I've got.
Blowing your nose is always very interesting. You do not have a nosebleed, it's just red dust.
Yeah, well, yes. And that is the arena itself. Not too many audience members here yet. I know they bring people through for the finals tonight.
They do. We are pretty far out into the desert. I mean, and what a blessing it is to be so far out in the desert. It's an amazing place, great surroundings, but pretty far for spectators to go.
Yes.
So we may not see as many, a lot more people probably on the live stream.
Exactly, yes. And hello if you're watching from home. If you're just joining us, where have you been? We're almost finished this quali round. Not a semi-final here, just a qualification, so I think we can almost call it semi-finals.
Almost.
Yeah, go for it. That would look good in your team sheet.
Yeah, made it to the semi-finals. Fantastic.
Yeah, don't quote me on that one, please. So Vadim again goes, that right foot causing all types of problems, bobbling again.
Yeah. He's learning each time. He's making progress each time. And that's what you want to see from an athlete, is a constant progress, constant improvement. hopefully you see it a bit faster so that, you know, within the 4 minutes they get all the way to the top, but I can't fault him for learning. He's been learning each time.
Yeah, look at this, really good work, keeping that body's center of gravity low as he creeps over.
He's going a little bit too toe heavy on his right foot. Again, going for the kind of the pad of your foot would serve a little better there.
He rescued it though.
He did.
Jumped the foot up, now he's flagging underneath.
Yeah.
This is actually great work from him. Right, 2 holds away.
Oh. No. Just lost it at the last second there, probably because of not having his second foot in play. But again, he's learning. He's got a minute to go. Maybe this next one will be the top.
Yeah, let's see. He has got time, and he did learn from that. Down at the end, we've got Nelson finishing things off on Boulder number 4. His skin, a nightmare for him. He's been taped up throughout the rounds.
Yeah, actually, while I was back getting Pectra ready to go, Nelson popped over to me and said, "Do you have any tape?" I think he may have run out, but he was bleeding from his knuckles as well after those jumps on Boulder 3.
Oh, no.
He had bashed his hand against the wall a couple times. You know, these athletes, blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, leaving literally everything behind on the wall. All right, so Shanil with 17 seconds to go, hasn't really got close to the jump. Back to Vadim here.
It's true to say that Boulder 4 is the hardest boulder on the wall.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Boulder 3, the crux is maybe a bit lower down. It's really that first move that's the hardest part of Boulder number 3, whereas Boulder 4, you can feel like you get some progress, and then it gets nearly impossible.
Yes, exactly. Once you hit the third of the pinches. Well, let's have a look at the scores once more. Sota still leading the way, so is Michael, but down where we're interested in, Nimrod pushing Alexi out by only a few points of that top 6, and draws from Manu Cornu, who didn't have the best of rounds. So Manu with work to do in the finals later on in the 68s. Interesting stuff. I'm not really expecting that to change too much.
No, I wouldn't think so. Looking down the sheet. I mean, we have 2 athletes who haven't come out yet. You never know. We could be surprised. And Stanley from Guam, I was chit-chatting with him. He and his teammate Noah, both nice, friendly guys. We were having a good chat. And Stanley's pretty excited to get out here, so we never know what you might see.
Yeah, well, Billingham is out right now from Mongolia. And Noah in the background is making really good progress, 1 move away. Billingham again, run and jumps. There he is, our shot 25. Mongolia, country I'd love to go to, never been.
Mongolia, yeah, me too. I don't know if you ever saw that film, First Descent, Last Descent. It's one of the...
Oh, yes, the guy with Hazel Finn.
Yeah. Great film.
Yeah, it's a good film. Okay, so who is this? This is Carlos.
This is Carlos, yeah. Oh.
Is it? I think
no, sorry, no, that's Gianstefano Danino from Venezuela,
yes. Sorry, we're getting mixed up here.
El Salvador athlete. They have very similar uniforms.
They do, which is not going to let anyone forgive me anymore on the YouTube comments, I'm sure, but apologies there.
No. Oh, what a shot.
It's great, isn't it? Our drone having a lot of fun up there in the sky, showing us a bird's eye perspective of our compound here. Right now, Noah on shot here came really close the first time, got 2 hands on the last hold. Couldn't quite complete the movement. Gianstefano, quite far away, holding that right knee. Came down a bit heavily onto it there. It's a bit of a reset as we pan down. The speed wall in action on Wednesday. Tomorrow it's the women's quali and finals. And speed qualies and finals taking place, I think, in the afternoon. I think we start at 5 o'clock.
Yep. And Carlos is also on the wall, had a really good brush just now at that pinch. At such a hard pinch.
And you can see what he's thinking. He's going for the slow drop down, but I just don't think it's the way.
I don't think so either.
I can't remember who it was earlier on. Someone managed to drop down. One of the Irish athletes managed to drop down, but then couldn't. You're so low, it's even further to jump up.
Jumping back up will be nearly impossible, right? So.
Yeah. But he did kind of a similar to that, kind of hugging the volume to get into position.
Well, it's quite difficult. A lot of athletes you could see earlier were able to touch their toe onto that yellow one, kind of feel the distance, and you know. Right now, Gianstefano a little bit shorter, not able to touch it, right? So it changes the dynamic slightly. He's caught the static move.
Yeah, he's in, but the problem is this next move now, because you're crouching super low, and you
not to mention that the momentum is not there for you to then power up to the next one and paddle through. it just doesn't seem like a beta that's going to work. Really unfortunate, Noah not finding his feet.
No, he's kind of going backwards from that first attempt where he came close. So struggling now, and not a lot of time left on our clock. So going again, will he do the same method? I think it's the wrong way, because you get to that position in the same way, but obviously way harder moves to get there.
Yeah.
1 minute 30 on the clock here. Last couple of attempts. Billingham going again on the left.
Carlos taking a bit of a hard fall off the start move. Dry firing off of that. Hurts a little bit.
Yes, it does. Especially with the skin.
This is where the nice way of putting it, the top heavy, like pulling through with his arms. Like, he's got all the arm strength in the world, but if he has to find his feet, and the footwork here is far more important than the strength.
Yeah, he's a bit too far to the right. One hand on, but can't convert. He's been throwing himself at his boulder.
He has. There's still a minute to go, and he probably will give it another solid couple of attempts.
Yeah, I think he might need a bit of a rest, though. Maybe go down to 30 seconds and have one final go at this. Again, experience, I think, making a difference here. Ooh, that was very close from him. It's Carlos jumping up. Is it Carlos?
Gianstefano.
Yeah. Right, so he'll go again, kicking back and forth. He came close, got to the yellow sloper. It's a really weird swing that he's doing, but it does work.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay. You know what? Oh, no, there's not enough
It's
time.
sort of a non-swing.
I mean, he's going for it, but getting the move on that last attempt and finally getting the beta, realizing you have it, and then running out of time.
Yeah.
It's a bit heartbreaking.
I just love the way he was swinging, because he sort of wasn't really swinging. It's more of a drop down and then an explosion up.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Let's see some replays then. This is...
Came through, dropped down, big explosion with the pull through, missing the paddle.
Yeah, almost perfect. And remember, that blue hole's got no edge on it. It's just a flat hole.
And now, on the same hole that we were just watching Gianstefano at, Pectora's going to come out and give it a try. I'm really curious, like, knowing these athletes, I'm curious to see what they can do. And Stanley, I haven't seen him climb yet. I was watching him earlier in the warm-up area, and I'm, again, really curious to see what style of climber he is.
Yeah, he's our last athlete out of the morning. So last time we'll see boulder number 1 before we start to lose some boulders. So Stanley, careful with the feet now, making his way over to the right. Got to pitter-patter those feet, really careful, palm down. In the background you can see good work as well from Vadim on the final move of boulder 2.
Vadim just out of your screen there.
He's in!
And nice turn to the crowd before he dropped down, so he'll be off the mats. Stanley again on boulder 1.
It's good work from Vadim. He'll leave us back to Stanley Au here. Creeping around the corner. And a big fall backwards.
Yeah, Pectra on boulder number 3, going for the swing, drop down. He's going for kind of a 1 foot, 2 foot thing. What I really liked about Gianstefano's last attempt was he landed both of his feet at the same time on the yellow holes, which is what gave him that drop power, kept the momentum to get to the blue. Now, Pectra, in this format, you get to watch other athletes. He was watching other athletes. At the very beginning, we had a couple of athletes. I believe one of the Irish guys skipped both of those holes straight to the zone on boulder 3.
And Manu was trying it as well.
Yeah, and so Pectra knows that. And I think after a couple of minutes of trying this, if he's not feeling it, he might try for the big skip. But that's a very big, powerful move.
So we'll wait and see. Back to Stanley Au, meanwhile. No, it's fine, don't worry.
Nice, yeah. It's good concentrated movement from Stanley.
All right, there is Pectra. So he starts this swing. Is he going to go for this beta break you were talking about?
Not yet, I don't think.
They're still going for the traditional jump over.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's not... It's far drop down to those yellows to then go back up, and it's scary too when you are going down in a dyno. It's quite scary to think about your ankles and your toes and whether you slip off and smack your face. I mean, I've done it a few times.
Yeah, exactly. So the athletes, the battle with bouldering, it looks safe, but it's high up on the wall. It goes about 5 meters up there. Long way.
It is a high wall.
So Petra back and forth, and that is Chanil.
Having a good think before trying again. There's a lot of power on this one, so a lot of resting needed.
Yes, he's not up there in terms of the score, but with experience, this comp is so important for every athlete. And for Mauritius as well, first time having these guys compete. So gets the toe hook in underneath, you've got to trust it, commit your weight to it, but he missed the jib that time.
I haven't checked the roster if any of these teams that are new, if they've also brought women to this event. I know there's 23 men, and tomorrow there'll be 16 women bouldering. So I'll be curious to see tomorrow how many women it's the first time in the circuit as well.
That was the top from Vadim, by the way, getting his score up to 36 with the top in a zone. Quick work from him at the beginning of the round. We saw him getting close, but we just missed the top. So Petra, he's going for the beta breaks now.
Here we go.
So we go. As you predicted, he's seen others do it, which is this format for this competition you can watch, and he's having a go. Let's see if Petra can get it done then.
I'm trying not to yell when I've got a microphone to my face.
Yes, it's very close to your mouth. Watch it. It will deafen the people out.
Oh, okay. Given a try at the beta break?
Yeah, he tried it.
He might try it again. Who knows?
He's had 2 goes of that now, so let's see if he can hit it again. Stanley, meanwhile, creeping with the feet over. He's struggled to get into the starting position a few times on this boulder, proving problematic.
Something fun about living in such an international space as I do, you learn all the different ways of saying "allez."
Yes.
Come on. Gamba.
What's Cambodian allez?
Cambodia is susu.
Susu, okay.
Susu.
Ah, it's a new one for me.
Vietnam would be goleng.
That so I knew.
We got a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, very close to straight up to the... he swiped at that zone.
I love the smile on his face as well. He looks a bit cheeky, like, oh, can I get this done?
He is cheeky.
Yeah.
That's what we love about Petra.
Well, 10 seconds and we're going to rotate through.
There, here he goes. Ah, good attempt, good attempt. Well done, Stanley. And well done, Chanil, as well.
And if you want to imagine what is climbing, I really recommend you to...
So, looking at the leaderboard, it's probably, as Matt said earlier, not going to move a whole lot from there. We're now not seeing any new athletes coming out. So we're going to work down until Stanley's the only one left on the mat. Bilgun here from Team Mongolia. Chulan Batar, his teammate, also going out with an injury at the end. Just saw him walking by with a big ice pack and some bandages. These guys are really throwing themselves at the wall, leaving it all on the mats. And 5 minutes, that's a lot of time to throw yourself at one boulder. He's having a good think about the start before he pulls on. And he's pulled himself on now, and with the flag out, just not quite reaching that first grab.
Yeah, we have said goodbye to boulder number 1 now. That's gone. Won't see that one again.
All right. Now we're going to get into Noah's wheelhouse, I think, with some big, powerful stuff.
Yes, those arms we were talking about. Yeah. Let's see if they can come into action. Well, the sun now is rotated all the way around our arena. It's the hottest part of the day in a minute, but the wall's still protected, which is good. Yeah. Coming up to just 11:30 here in the desert.
It really is desert out here, too. Driving out from Tabuk was an amazing drive.
Yes, you can imagine me last year when I didn't read my emails. I was somewhat surprised when I drove into the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of humidity here.
Yeah, but it is really spectacular, a very unique place here. And this is not a World Cup if you're watching, this is called a Masters event.
I rather like the Masters events because you do see athletes that you're not necessarily going to see in the World Cup. You see people who are up and coming. You get to see countries even that you don't necessarily see in the World Cup circuit. So it's really cool. It really shows you a bit more of what our sport's doing. Noah paddling through to the second hold. He's progressing here.
Yes, he is. So, and then down at the bottom.
Gian Stefano pulling through on these pinches. I think that's kind of a weird thing to say, but his score doesn't necessarily reflect his skill right now. He's been showing very well on all these boulders, and just slipping off towards tops, not quite making it, but really, really skilled climber.
Yes, and I think that's a reasonable thing to say, because often in all competitions we see athletes, getting within touching distance of more points, but not quite converting it.
Exactly, yeah.
It's why I quite like the double zone system in the Olympic format.
Yeah, the double zone's really cool. We just did, at our national competition 2 weeks ago, actually, I'm trying to remember now if we did do double zone or if we switched it back to single zone. I know last year we did double zone, and I quite liked it. I prefer the double zone.
Yeah.
Our big internet, we have an annual boulder comp called Spapre, which means jungle monkey, and we do a double zone there, and I prefer it. I like to see more points of progress, more potential for points.
Yes, it kind of incentivizes the athlete to keep on climbing as well, because there's more points. But this is the current system for boulder competitions. And this is, there's no lead here in the desert, just speed and boulder.
Sorry, not to jump back to a topic. It also spreads the field a little bit better when you have the double zone, because you'll have some athletes who all of them would get a zone but not a top, and now you've got split that down into some of them get 1, some of them get 2. Like right now, when you look at the scoreboard that's going to come up in a minute, the field's not terribly divided. It's pretty close, all once you get past 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, and separation is what we're looking for in this, and it's a very hard thing to achieve for the setters as well. Almost impossible, to get it perfect.
I have great respect for the route setters.
Me too, and they're working late here in the desert. And of course, conditions for setting is hard, because it's very hot during the day, very cold during the night, and also the finals are at night, so it's challenging.
Owning a climbing gym, I had never done any route setting before. I've been a climber, but never, done any route setting or worked in a gym. And all of a sudden, in Cambodia, we own now two climbing gyms. And just trying route setting with my team, just getting out and being like, oh, I could do one, and just giving it a try and going, oh my goodness, you guys are artists.
Yes, exactly. No one's ever given me a drill, thank goodness. Right, 2 athletes in the 120s, 1 in the 90s, the rest in the 60s to get into our top 6. That hasn't changed for a while.
No.
The bottom of the order will be moving around though.
I didn't catch quick enough what the score of number 6 and number 7 were. Top 6 are going through, right?
Yes, I think it's a couple of points difference, but not much. I think 68 to 66, I think the difference is.
Yeah.
Right, from Guam, out and about is that Noah? We got Noah?
That's Stanley.
That's Stanley there,
Yeah.
right, there we go.
Stanley will be the last one out on the mats in a few minutes. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted because I'm actually watching Pectora.
Oh, there
we go. Now he's on the screen.
Right, so power pinches hit. Yeah. Something he'll enjoy or struggle with?
Something he'll enjoy. If you ask him, he'd probably say, no, I'm not strong enough. But, he's a cheeky guy, but he's a humble guy. Yeah. Wow, fantastic from Vadim.
Well, I said you
straight through, just like that.
Maybe I called the scoreboard too early, because that's another top.
I think you did.
Yeah, that's 2 tops for him.
I wouldn't have blamed you. I would have called it the same.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and this is why we talk about style. Vadim was really struggling on boulder, I think it was boulder number 1.
Yeah, the slab, he didn't have a great time. He only got a zone on that.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't top it, and that's one that several people topped. But this one, pulling through, I think it was his first attempt or second attempt, if not first. Just like that. Well,
that might change the leaderboard, so we'll wait and see at the end of the round. But 65, oh, it's not going to be quite, I think. I think that's still just done. But he's got one more boulder.
He's got one more boulder, so that could mean a lot.
So suddenly some drama at the end of this comp here.
Yeah, exactly. Pectora's pulling back on in boulder number 4. Yeah, he is. I mean, he's got great grip strength. He's talented with a heel hook. So this is kind of actually in his wheelhouse. But, and again, not to make excuses, but just the reality is, that is so much steeper than anything we have to train on, anything that he's ever climbed, except for last year when he was in Italy. So if it's beyond 45 degrees, it's beyond the scope of our training.
Yeah, well, that's what he's got. And then Stanley here was finishing off boulder number 2 for us. Last athlete out on this. And then we'll only have 2 to go as the last couple come through.
Yeah, he's having a good think. It is a... Most of these boulders, when you look at them, immediately the obvious beta is kind of present. Boulder 2 is probably the biggest thinker of them all in my limited capacity. So he's having a good look at it.
Yeah, it's a real Boulder of two halves. You got to do that first big move up to with the crimp, and then swing your feet out, and then do that final jump.
And once you're in that second half, it's obvious, but you have to get it. You have to get your feet right.
Yeah. Well, Petra kicks those holy shoes back onto his foot.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have brought that up. That might be.
Hey, look,
I hope that's not embarrassing.
If he gets him a sponsor, you should definitely bring it up.
Well, you know, I want to, since we brought it up, I want to shout out to our friends in Singapore who send us shoes. Like every couple of years, they send a big load of shoes at their own expense. We've also had some donors from Germany and Switzerland sending them harnesses. Of course, we have lots of friends in Japan who actually come down to Cambodia every year, bring gear, bring new holds. Sport for Tomorrow is a program in Japan that they just sent us. Probably $10,000 worth of holds, honestly, if we count it up. They're all used from climbing gyms, but all the gyms pooled together and sent us 5 massive boxes of new holds for us to use, new to us.
Yeah.
So, you know, there actually is a lot of support going on, so I don't want to diminish what our friends in Singapore and Japan and Switzerland have been doing for us. So thank you if you guys are watching right now. And shout out to ACN.
I'm going to have to make a trip now. You're tempting me.
Oh.
I might come down.
I tell you, it might be a sidetrack from what we're looking at, but I did recently see your Climbing Never Die, your video you made in Ukraine, or your movie you made in Ukraine, and I was really touched. Fantastic video. And if you want to come to Cambodia and make one all about Cambodian climbers, I will support you in that, Matt.
We'll talk. We'll have a talk. All right, well, back to the climbing then. And no more progress being seen here at the moment.
No, and I think with 50 seconds left, we probably won't see any more progress. But respect to these athletes, they are going to throw themselves at it again. They're going to keep going. And this is part of the chat I was having with Petra and Yanfai yesterday, is the biggest thing for Cambodia in this event is that you come away with knowledge that you're passing on to our other climbers. All the climbers we can't get out to the international scene, you are the ones who are going to bring that knowledge, that info, that skill back to them.
Yeah.
And so I love seeing that they're just going for it, and they're going to bring it back to their countries. Guam, you know, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Bolivia, El Salvador, Venezuela, all very young programs, and they're going to bring this knowledge back, and that's worth a lot.
It is indeed, and Petra will now say goodbye.
Thanks, Petra.
Great work from him. His competition done. I think he will enjoy some desert time now.
Yes, he will. They did add in an element of the team comp in 2 days, so that is something we'll participate in. And that should be fun.
On Thursday, is that right?
So, I don't even know what day it is, Matt. I've been flying.
No, I mean, Monday. Today's Monday.
Not tomorrow, but the day after.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, okay. So tomorrow, it's we're going to be before the speed climbing.
I get you. Yeah, because there's a big gap in the schedule.
So in the morning, they want to do the speed climbing at night when the wall is cooled down. So now in the morning, they've put in a team event where they'll have a random selection of athletes from all these different countries, male and female, joining teams, and they'll have to figure out the beta together and then choose which athlete to send onto each boulder.
Oh, cool.
And then they'll get to, they have to play each athlete at least once in the circuit of 3 boulders.
Yeah.
So it should be fun, and I expect my guys will learn a lot from that as well.
Yes, and if you're watching at home thinking that'd be a great one to watch, I'm afraid you can't.
No, it won't be
pictures.
Just now, so bringing it back to what we're actually talking about, Bilgun just now on that drop down, that highlights what I was mentioning earlier. It's really scary to swing off and in. And again, hard to tell, but the hold that he's holding is about a meter further out away from the wall than the hold that he's jumping down to. So he's jumping down into a wall which is coming out at his face.
Yes.
And so for him to go down and just entirely miss the holds and just land on the mat, I get it. It's a real head game.
Yes, it is. And for those rule geeks out there, this won't be counted as a downwards dyno, which isn't allowed. It's kind of and this is a line that I never quite understand. Yeah. But it's to do with where your feet are and the direction. So they will argue that he's not landing.
No, it's a horizontal
dyno.
Technically, it is a horizontal line. Just because of the way they in the swing they pick their feet up.
Yes.
So it can feel more like downward. But no, you're right. The rules do clearly state no downward dynos.
I'm just purely saying this because I know someone will ask about it.
and
but it's, yeah, downward dynos aren't allowed, but that's a big drop down for that to happen.
And if anybody gets after you, Matt, you can just say, I had some amateur, he didn't know what he was talking about.
You're doing very well, James. Considering I accosted you during lunch the other day, you've done fantastically.
Well, it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, not last two yet, but getting down to the last couple of athletes
Yeah,
here.
I haven't been able to watch Noah over on Boulder 4 yet. Very, very overhung. Oh, Bilbin, good stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
closer.
Yeah, he went for an interesting move, kind of facing out almost and running along the bottom thing. Yeah, who knows? I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, we've seen a few kind of attempt. I'll think about it anyway, and it's not the intended beater, because I think because of the angle, the wall would just be pushed off.
Yeah,
if you're trying
exactly.
to
It really
run.
wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Noah pulling on here.
Yeah, in the background there on the pinches. Feet first. It's a long way to go.
That's
feet
a long
first.
way. That's a long way. Yeah.
You can see the thinking, because you can get good toe hooks in there,
Yeah,
but not
absolutely.
from that early on.
No. And it's always fun to see a boulder like that where there's 2 or 3 betas that will work. And, you know, had somebody with the bicycle move, someone else with a far toe hook and a closer in press with the foot. I like that, being able to see different thoughts. This has been more the standard beta I think we've watched, except, yeah, switching the hand around.
Yeah, it's hard to release those toes, though,
It
isn't
is,
it, from the
yeah,
red?
especially with the double toe hook like that, when he goes, if he's not quite got the reach to go while keeping the toes on, and so it's going to pull him away from the wall.
Yeah. Okay, well, from Mongolia, he's going again. This is Bilgun. Springs up.
Nice. Definitely his best attempt yet. I think these guys are going to watch these later and kind of be critical of themselves, but it's really worth saying again that these are hard boulders, and you know, just to start these boulders, to have a go at that first move.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows that they're definitely. They belong here. They should be here.
They do, and it's a good bit of setting as well, because you have a
Yes.
big range of athletes to order to cater for this. And I'm glad everyone's got off the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, again, credit to the route setters. Having a guy like Sota show up, and then Manuel as well from France, like having them show up and think, okay, I need them to have to work.
Yeah.
But I have to make it so that when we get down to the lowest ranking athletes, they can still climb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big respect to the route setters.
I fully agree. All right, last 20 seconds of this round as our camera once more shows the backdrop to this competition.
It's hard to talk bouldering with so much trad climbing potential around us here.
I'm not sure how much I'd want to try to climb these rocks, I'll be honest. I think they might be a bit crumbly.
Yeah. Come on, Matt. When is the World Cup going to add trad climbing in?
I don't think it's possible, is it?
It would be interesting. There'd be some rule debates, I tell you.
Oh, sweet good. I don't think the trad climbers would even necessarily go for it. They're very...
They're far too cool.
Yeah, they're far too cool. They're very purists. You know?
Yes.
They like to be out on their own.
I'd like to commentate and annoy them, though. That'd be wonderful. Well, watching some replays here. That was quite a nasty fall. We didn't spot that, but yeah.
He took it well.
Yeah. Protected his head just about.
So this will be Stanley and Vadim back out.
Yeah, and Vadim has something to play for here, because he's in the 65s, and if he can get a zone, he'd jump up into the finals, I think.
Yeah.
So big
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a zone, actually.
No, he's certainly strong enough, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's Stanley going again.
Yeah.
Up he goes into position on the starting hole. There is Vadim. This is very important for the scoreboard
This
here.
move, oh, not quite. So he's touched the zone, but it's not going to count.
No, you need to move off it. You need to use the zone hold. And he just touched it. Won't count.
We had a minor amount of debate at our national competition a couple weeks ago about the move off a zone and
You know what exactly that meant,
and there was a score challenge. Thankfully, when we went back and looked, even if they had the zone, it didn't change the final result.
Okay.
But the judges here, they know what they're doing, but it's a lot to look for. And, you know, thankfully, they're well trained. They do a really good job. Very few challenges at this level.
Yeah, we talked about that appeal, and to remind everyone, there might be appeals that come through after the broadcast finishes. I kind of doubt it, but you never know, so sometimes the scores can change, just to let you know. So, 2 athletes out. Vadim, who's still making a play for the final 6 here. He's in contention, there he is. He went for a reverse grip with the left hand on his last go. And now back to Billion.
Yeah, I can't remember from the scoreboard who he would bump if he goes, so I don't want to cheer too hard and offend whoever is in number 6 right now. But I'm excited to see these Kazakh climbers and to see what they can do, and I'd love to see one of them in the finals.
Yeah, and he's coming closer. He held it for a moment. 3 minutes and a shake of his head.
It could be worth a brush, I don't know.
Yeah, true, he hasn't brushed it, has he? No. Or asked for one.
Yeah, you can ask. I've seen a few of the athletes just grab the brush and do it themselves. You can also ask for a brush at any time. Remember watching you were commentating back, during more COVID times and the brushing rules, and just a few of the athletes calling for a brush. And then realizing, oh no, I have to get it myself.
Yeah, I felt sorry for the athletes that time because brushing is not easy to do. It's tiring.
No, and it takes a lot of muscle work. It's actually tiring. Still not achieving the zone there. If he could have it and put his foot up to something or make a move, this could be a change in the scoreboard.
It could be, and he won't necessarily know how. I mean, he'll know actually, he should know the score, to be honest.
Well. So I was backstage. I had to leave the commentating to go, get my athletes ready get them started. And as I was backstage, there's not a lot of chatter going on about scores.
Interesting.
Nobody's giving them a scoreboard.
Okay.
They could, if they wanted to, walk out to the front and seek it out themselves. Yes. But I think they're more concerned with just their own game, and they're keeping their head in the right space. So I don't think many of the athletes are really paying attention to what the other athletes are doing.
That is interesting, yeah, because I would have thought with the format like this being open, they'd have an idea.
Yeah, but they did, the Routsiders sent out the beta videos earlier, so they already watched them all and got an idea. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think they're too concerned about watching the athletes as they go. They're more concerned with their own headspace.
Well, there is your athlete walking past the commentary box, giving us a big smile.
Yeah, he's gonna go have a nap. That's what he's letting us know.
Right, 1 minute on the clock. Can Vadim make a play here for the finals?
And Stanley on Boulder 3 having a really nice swing. Okay. I think, again, a bit, as you were commenting on Yan Fai earlier, a bit stunted. He's going for a big swing and then just 3/4 through, not following through as you might hope.
Yeah, stopping that movement. So let's see if he can make an adjustment. 50 seconds. This is the man we're really focusing on, though.
They're brushing. See? Get the brush.
He heard you. He heard you.
Yeah. It is a bit hard. I've never been in the commentary box. It's my first time. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Matt.
Of course, man.
But it's a bit hard being, locked back here. I want to be running around the back, and earlier when Pektra was going through, I had a thought, and I was like, it's an open format. He could come watch. I wanted to run back and talk to him.
Oh, you could have done.
I could have done, but you know what? I also don't want to interrupt his process. And once they were in the circuit, I thought better just let them have
Yes, and also in terms of practice, this is not usual. So maybe it's better for them to get used to them being by themselves and doing
Absolutely, it. Yeah. But the thought came to me because I just wanted to run out while Vadim was resting and grab a brush and just, because I can see where he needs to brush, and I just want to go brush it for him.
Now, we'll have to wait for that. Vadim shook his head. I don't think he got the zone.
He doesn't think he got the zone.
No.
We'll see what the judges said.
He certainly had a hand on it for a while.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see a scoreboard in a moment just to check that. Yeah, here we go. And he's
no zone. So he is staying down, and he and his teammate just outside the top 6. So, really good showing from Kazakhstan in this qualifying round. I'm quite chuffed to see Cambodia in the top 10.
Yes, exactly. They're up there. Well, congratulations. All right, well, last, who have we got? Just on Boulder 4 now. Yeah.
Bilgun's out on Boulder 4, and then Stanley will come out after him. And
so, final 2. And it's going to be quite a brutal way to finish off this comp. I'm not sure how much progress we'll see on this. Little adjustments.
Kicked his own fingers just now. I think he's suffering in the fingers, the skin, quite a bit.
Yes, you can see the tape, especially on the left.
He's looking down at his hands a lot.
Yeah, quickly disguise it with chalk. That is a legit tactic the athletes use. They just cover the blood in chalk.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying it's what they do.
Yeah. There's There's a very fine line where you know your skin's about to go, and so you just tape it before it starts to bleed. And having that self-knowledge to know, okay, I'm at that point. It's hard to learn. It's a learned skill.
Yes, it is. Well, Bill Gunn has 3 minutes 42 to suffer through before he can take off the tape once and for all. And get some skincare on that. Yeah, so just some housekeeping when we watch these first couple of results. This is the men's day of competition. So this evening we have the finals, and then tomorrow it's the time of the women. Same times, qualifying and finals in the evening. And then on Wednesday, although we have this little fun competition with the teams, it's not broadcast. There will be pictures, I'm sure, but the broadcast begins about 5 o'clock for the speed on Wednesday. That's the plan. So Bilgun going again, 3 minutes on the clock. Looks pretty good in this dying position, actually.
Does.
Keeps losing this toe, though.
No. Be exciting for his folks back home to be watching this. I mean, it's nice, actually, that we have the opportunity here to stream the qualifiers, because most of the time that World Cups, etc., it's just not possible.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much effort that goes into, and I respect you guys for how much you put into making these live streams happen. It's a lot of work.
It is, yeah. People ask us why we don't do the qualies, and the general idea is that it's just so long. I mean, it goes on all day, so it's very hard to condense 70 athletes into a qualifying session, but
absolutely.
We never know. Yeah, the speed is broadcast without commentary, but and that's mainly because we see world records sometimes go.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, it's speed. You just set up a camera in one spot. You don't have to move around a whole lot. I'm watching one of our cameramen right now. He's been standing in the same spot in the hot desert sun for the last 2 hours. And, you know, that's the commitment behind the scenes is huge. So thanks to everybody who's back there making it work.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. All right, he goes again into this jib and pinch, comes out right, slaps it but misses.
Hit his knuckles on that hold. He'll be feeling that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right hand, you can tell he's shaking it a lot. He's opening and closing that right hand. You can tell he's suffering a bit there, but pulling back on. He's still got a minute to go, and he's going to give it all he's got.
Yes. Yeah, minute 36 on the clock.
Right hand
Great shot to show, and there's so little on that jib that's
yeah,
screwed on.
You can watch it slowly slipping off finger by finger, and that is a hard boulder. This angle really highlights how overhung it is.
Yep.
Do we happen to know the degree angle on that?
I haven't been told the exact. I mean, from like my own knowledge, that's about 60 coming through.
That's a solid roof.
Yes, it is. Yeah, one of the steep. I mean, it's about 60 is about to 65 is about as steep as it gets, really. On most walls, anyway. I think is this an EP wall? I think it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Entreprise, top right corner, you can see their logo.
Yes, I see. Yeah, EP doing a lot of walls throughout the world, including the Olympic wall. That was theirs.
Yeah, the Titan boulder.
Yeah.
Which I heard is for sale.
I think they might have sold it.
They might have sold it
from
already?
what I understand, okay. Yes, but I can't remember who on earth to.
Yeah, I was curious to know where it ended up. You know, anyone who wants to try climbing on the Olympic wall, it's still out there
well,
somewhere.
there are a few replicas around the world, and you see gyms. I know there's one in the UK in the south that has the old 2020 Tokyo wall, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, he leaves with 20 seconds on the clock. Good work. Let's have, I think, another look at either the desert or the scores. We'll see in a second. I feel like our drone pilot is getting more adventurous. He's heading off deeper into the desert.
He's tired of the camp, and he's decided to get out there and really check that boulder on the top, though. Yeah. How about that?
You can just about see the main road in the very distance there. That's where we drive from the airport to here, which is about 2 hours away.
And actually, that mountain you could just see in the background. That's Jabal al-Lawz. It's the tallest mountain in this area.
Oh, okay.
And just beyond that is the Red Sea.
Good knowledge. Thank God you're here. Geography. I like about that. Right, last athlete of this morning. It's still this morning? I think it is. Yes, just about.
Stanley coming back out.
Yeah,
Stanley has somebody cheering him on.
Yeah, the sun creeping ever forwards onto the mat. You can see some sweat standing out the brow of the athletes as the heat rises, but the wind has kept things cold. I'm still in a jumper right now.
Yeah, the flags around the camp are blowing pretty hard. It's a nice breeze. But that mat is hot.
Yes.
When you go sit on it.
Yeah, the reflecting heat back to the athletes. They'll be hiding in the shadows. So Stanley out to the pinches, but he's a bit stuck in this position now. Slams out right.
Nice move. This is a cool angle too. You actually get to see kind of a bit more of the camp in the background.
Yeah, and the
Stanley
steepness
falls
of the
on.
wall as
And
well.
the steepness of the wall.
No, you're right about the camp. Yeah, it stretches out. We're right on the edge of the camp here. It kind of is behind us. Stanley going right doesn't work. It's a tough way to finish a round.
It is, yeah. We can hear the commentator really putting a lot of effort, like the local on-stage commentator putting a lot of effort into keeping the hype going for Stanley. Our DJ in the booth there just bopping away. He's having a good time.
We haven't seen many shots of that man, but he's been dancing for the last 3 hours.
Oh, he's dedicated. He's going. And he's been in full sun the whole time.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So shout out to the DJ.
Well done, Mr. DJ.
Stanley pulling back on.
Yeah, it goes again. Locks in that right toe. Trusts as he rocks back. That's much better in that position. It's his next move. Remember, he's going to a nothing pinch for the right hand. Yeah. Stanley has another think. Retreats back towards the shade as he goes and has a look at the pinch. Trying to find if there's any hidden secrets. There's none to be had, really.
No, it's just power.
Last 3 minutes.
You can see the strain in the forearm, like, you know, when he grabs that pinch right there, those muscles just working really hard to maintain that pinch strength. And it's almost a dead vertical. Committed, full commit, fall straight to his back. Good on you, Stanley.
Yeah, I don't know if he's quite got what it takes to unlock this move here. He went for the match that time. Has another look around the corner, breathes deep, 2 minutes 20 on the clock. Love a zone out of this. And just to let you know, if you're watching, don't go away at the end of the broadcast, because we have apparently found Manu Cornu, who's going to do a chat with one of our journalists down the front. So if you want to hear from Manu, do stick around until the end of this. In fact, we've got two. We've got Manu and Michael from Ireland coming, so that's after it finishes. So don't go anywhere, is what I'm saying. All right, Stanley gets this left heel locked in, but watch the moment he'll move the hand, yeah, the heel swings away. Just needs to find a bit more pressure and press in there.
Yeah.
1:47 on the clock. And James, well, we'll say goodbye to you at the end of this. So thank you for joining me for this broadcast. It was brilliant, and it's fascinating to hear so much about Cambodian climbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, everywhere in the world, every country in the world are seeing climbing becoming such a huge sport. Climbing gyms are being built. It's probably the fastest, I mean, I don't have a statistic, but I would think it's the fastest growing sport in the world right now. Being added to the Olympics was a huge boost as far as knowledge and popularity. And so many countries like Cambodia just don't even know about it as a sport, right? So you end up with a lot of people who show up at your climbing gym being like, so what is this? What are you doing? And to see the program go from nothing, as far as the international stage, to something in a matter of a decade, you know, it's pretty exciting stuff. It's pretty special.
Yeah. I like your statistic. I think we should go with it being the fastest growing sport in the world.
Yeah, let's just say
Sounds great.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I did hear someone, probably Matt Groom, say that on some
Sounds like something I'd make up, yes.
My wife, hey, good job, Stanley. So
38
come on,
seconds.
cheering him on. Last 30 seconds for Stanley. Cheering him onto the wall.
Stanley back in again. All right. So he'll look for the toe underneath, the left heel up.
It's a nice toe hook. That's pretty. There's a shot. There's your hero shot, Stanley. Take that still. Make that your Facebook profile.
I think Stanley might be done. 14 seconds. Oh, he's not going to say goodbye yet. He wants to carry on.
Come on. He wants to be on the wall for the buzzer. Why not?
Exactly. 5 seconds, though. Not going to be a zone for Stanley. And he is done. Well, everyone,
well done.
We will get an update on the results. We'll have those interviews to come, and then we will say goodbye for a few hours. But, James, I want to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you having me out here.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a gym very soon in Cambodia. See you later. Right, we're just watching some replays here of what we saw before those promised interviews, and a chance to check the scores as well. So there they are, Sota Amagasa leading the way over Michael O'Neill. Attila after that in the 90s. So good top three there, and then Quantal on 69, and 68 is Manu Cornu, who struggled a little bit, but he's in safely, and then Nimrod after that in joint fifth, but basically sixth position there. And now we found Manu Cornu, so let's go down to the front of the stage and talk to Manu, shall we?
Again, we are with Manu Cornu. Manu, you just ended this qualifying round this morning. You were the second one to climb in this fourth problem. How do you feel this morning?
Yeah, I climbed really early this morning because in France it's 7 o'clock, so I sleep again. I'm still sleeping on the first boulder, and yeah, I feel a bit low battery, but it's okay for me this morning with the qualification. And so now it's the final this afternoon.
Exactly, so you're a part of this 6 athletes who will be qualified for final. You are with Sota, and there is 4 other athletes. How you do feel? So now time to rest and to give everything tonight to fight as usual?
Yeah, no, for sure I go take a nap and I come back this afternoon with a best mood for win.
We are happy to have you again for this second edition of the NEOM IFSC Masters 2024. Thank you very much, Manu. I'll see you tonight for finals. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, there we go. Thank you to Manu Cornu. And interesting to hear about that time difference. It's a good point. Well, we've actually found Michael as well. So let's hear from Michael, shall we?
It's just probably the coolest place I've ever been for a competition.
How did you feel this morning in the problem? You were, I think, the third athlete out on this qualifying round. It was early, but you did great job topping this problem number 3. You get 4 tops. You're only 2 athletes to do this with Sota Amagasa, which is something. Congratulations first, and ready for tonight's final?
Really excited for finals.
Can't wait, can't wait. Congratulations, Michael, again, and good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. Thank you to Michael as well. And what some wonderful shots we have of the desert here. I tell you what, it gets more spectacular the higher up you go.
You were first climber out this morning for the qualifying round. Let's say that...
So I've just been told we found Sota as well, Sota Amagasa. So I think we're going to go down to him to here.
How do you prepare now for tonight's final?
Today's qualification was really good and felt really good. I can't wait to climb in the final.
We can't wait to see you again. Is it your first time in NEOM?
Yes, this is my favorite place.
I think we all feel the same. Thank you very much, Sota. I wish you the best for tonight. Round of applause for our amazing athletes. There were 3 with us and will be again at 7 p.m. tonight for finals. Thank you very much, Sota. Thank you.
Well, there we go. I think now that is it for interviews. We had a few surprises in there, but nice to hear from Sota Amagasa, who qualified in the top spot, 120 points. 4 flashes out of 4. I did Michael as well, so impressive stuff. So as I was saying, that desert view, yeah, you really get an understanding of how spectacular it is from our drone shots up here in the desert. Well, it's time to say goodbye then. We will be back this evening for the finals, a new format, fascinating to watch, so hopefully you can join myself and a certain world record holder who'll be in the commentary box with me later on. My name is Matt Groom. Thank you to James for joining me, and we will see you in a few hours.